movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Gilbert worked in retail and restaurant management for 14 years. It was time for a change.
I recognized where I was at was vulnerable to the whims of the economy.
Then he heard about My Computer Career. Gilbert went for it.
In as little as 7 months, I got all of my certifications at a fraction of a cost for college.
He became an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
I can work from anywhere. I have more time for my family as well.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Grilling, better with Pepsi.
For a limited time, get 2 20-ounce Pepsis for only $4.25 at Refuel. So hurry in and enjoy an ice-cold Pepsi today.
Rise and shine, honey. We don't want to miss our flight.
Our flight is in 7 hours. And we have TSA PreCheck with our Navy Federal flagship credit card.
TSA PreCheck. Getting my bugle through security will be so much easier now.
Learn how you can earn up to 3 times points on travel with the flagship credit card at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Insured by NCUA.
Get bonus days to save during Window Nation's semi-annual sale now through June 30th. Get 50% off all windows along with no interest for 5 years, plus a bonus 10% savings when you schedule an estimate at 866-90-NATION or windownation.com.
This hour of buzzer-beating, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sports action on 99.9 The Fan is powered by
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com. WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs. You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
They're all on their feet here at the Garden. The coaches shake hands, Joe Mazzulla and Jason Kidd. The final 4 seconds tick away. Get ready to raise an 18th banner, Boston. The Celtics are once again the winningest franchise in the history of the NBA. It's an 18th title for the Celtics, the 2024 NBA champions.
The Boston Celtics are the champions, and hopefully, here in the state of North Carolina, one of our professional teams in the very coming year will be a champion. By the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today, Victoria Vodenecker producing, and the reason why I say that is because, well, let's go and get things started, Victoria. And within the last hour, let's hit the breaking news sounder. Carolina Hurricanes have their general manager. It is official. The Carolina Hurricanes have promoted formerly assistant general manager, interim GM Eric Tulsky is now the full-time GM for your Carolina Hurricanes. First of all, congratulations to Eric Tulsky. There are only 32 people that have the title of general manager in the NHL. He's one of them. Congratulations, truly indeed, to Eric Tulsky, who's, by the way, been acting as the interim GM for the past 4 weeks or so since Don Waddell departed for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Don Waddell being the former team president and general manager. Personally, I like promoting from within, especially if you've had success, which the Carolina Hurricanes have had for the last 6 years, whether it's successful team, successful business. I like promoting from within because people understand your process, and those people have been part of your process, which Eric Tulsky has been. He had been a consultant with the Carolina Hurricanes starting in 2014, had some roles in terms of analytics and such starting in 2015, and also became part of the pro scouting department. And then in 2020, became assistant general manager, had a say in basically every single personnel decision that the Carolina Hurricanes have made since that time. Canes have made a lot of good ones. They're the only team over the last 6 years, the only franchise over the last 6 years in the NHL to have won a postseason round in some way, shape, or form. The only one are the Carolina Hurricanes. Again, I'll say it again. The only team in the last 6 years that has won a round in the postseason. Now, so again, I like the promotion from within. But a major question going forward, who are the Canes going to surround Eric Tulsky with? Don Waddell, gone. Don Waddell, again, part of the process of the Carolina Hurricanes and all the front office decisions. He was the front face because he was president and general manager. He was the quote-unquote, I'll say, hockey guy, right? The hockey guy. The guy that understood how to make, all right, a quote-unquote hockey trade. Hey, we're going to trade this forward for that defenseman, or this forward for that forward. For example, years ago, we saw Victor Rask traded to Minnesota. Victor Rask was a center. They brought back Nino Niederreiter. Hockey trade, right? Knew exactly in terms of, hey, in the postseason, this guy has the mentality necessary to take us where we want to in the postseason. Other than just the skills and the numbers and analytics, those kinds of things. So you remove that piece, who fills that void? That's a big question. Assistant General Manager Darren York is still going to be there. Tom Dundon, the owner of the team, is part of these decisions as well. So it's always been a collective group. But who's going to be the quote-unquote, I'll say it again, hockey guy? Is it a consultant? Are you going to use Justin Williams, who's part of your organization already, to be the consultant? Be like, hey, Justin, what are your thoughts on this guy from this team? Hey, honestly, he doesn't do the hard work in the corners, that's needed in the playoffs. So I don't think he's going to be a good fit. All right, you know what? I don't think that guy's going to fit in this locker room, whatever it might be. Who's that guy? We've already seen, so again, that's my big question. Who are you surrounding Eric Tulsky with? We have seen the Carolina Hurricanes re-sign Jalen Chatfield last week. So we already know that the Canes and their front office have been negotiating with pending free agents. By the way, if you missed the conversation, we actually had Jalen Chatfield on Friday last week. Make sure you check out the Best of the Adam Gold Show podcast, wherever you get your podcast, because we had a conversation with him last week after he re-signed. So again, we know that the front office is already negotiating with free agents, with the team's free agents. Now that this is officially done, teams know it, players' agents know it. Now let's really get the work done. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, the Canes will have the press conference to officially introduce Eric Tulsky tomorrow. They'll have all that stuff. But all right, let's keep getting the work done. Let's see the long-term extension for Seth Jarvis. That long-term 8-year deal, Victoria, that we want to see. Because we want to see, Victoria, Seth Jarvis here for a long, long time.
Love Jarvie. He's my fave.
He's awesome.
Yes.
That's a building block for your franchise.
Yeah, of course.
Let's see the 8-year extension done for him.
So you want him here long-term.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see Jordan Martinook re-sign to come back. I said it last week. I'll say it again. Jordan Martinook is the heart and soul of your team. Fan base feels it. The locker room respects him. And also, he's a darn good hockey player. He knows his role, and he plays his role tremendously. That is a guy you need to have back on your team. The NHL draft starts on the 28th, which is Friday next week. That time, between now and then, I want to see the Jarvis extension done. The Jordan Martinook extension that he's coming back. I want to see that done. Let's see what you're going to do with Martin Necas. Are you going to trade him? Who are you going to get back in return? That all needs to be done by Friday the 28th next week. All those things I just mentioned need to be done by Friday next week. Then also when July 1st hits, which, by the way, July 1st is now 13 days away, so we're under 2 weeks. That's when NHL free agency starts. It's less than 2 weeks away. On July 1st, Jacob Slavin can sign his contract extension with the Carolina Hurricanes. I hope to see that July 1. Contract extension, Jacob Slavin, for 8 years. 7 years, however long he wants to keep playing. Want to see that deal done. Even want to see some of the other deals with, all right, are you going to do a bridge contract with Jack Drury? Some of these other things, because eventually the money goes quick. There's only so many dollars to go around. He has to make these decisions. Now, we already basically understand that forward Jake Gensel is going to go to free agency on July 1st and see what's out there. Elliot Friedman and a bunch of others across the NHL have said that doesn't mean that Carolina's out of it. It's just that Jake Gensel is going to go out there and see what's available. That's fine. It's his right. Also wouldn't hurt by Friday the 28th that we hear that Jake Gensel is coming back to the Carolina Hurricanes. Would not hurt to hear that either, Victoria.
That would be a good thing.
That's the best winger that we've seen Sebastian Aho play with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With all due respect to Jarvis and to Svetch.
Yeah.
The best goal scorer.
They've matched up well.
Yes.
And fast, too.
We saw it.
It was like game 2 or 3 that they were clicking already.
We saw it right from the jump.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a whole season together of those two.
That'd be great.
Let's go.
I mean, look at the Oilers. They have options. It's good to have options.
Good to have
so
options.
if we have great options, even better.
Good to have options.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Tulsky, if you have not heard, officially the general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes. He'll have his introductory press conference tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I'm assuming Adam will probably have Eric Tulsky on at some point this week. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I've already reached out to the Canes about getting Eric Tulsky on other shows that I work with and such as well. So it's going to happen. So stay locked in, wherever. Stay locked in on the Adam Gold Show. I guarantee you will hear a conversation with Eric Tulsky at some point in the very near future. So, again, Eric Tulsky, officially the general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes. Congrats. Sincerely, congrats indeed. Now let's see the rest of the work get done. We already know you've been putting in the work. Like I said, you've already re-signed Jalen Chatfield. Now let's get the Jarvis deal done. Maybe you'll get a Jake Gensel deal done. I'm crossing fingers on that. But I want to see Jordan Martinook come back. And eventually on July 1st, I want to see that Jacob Slavin deal done for his extension too. All right, next up. Now, before we get into the NBA Finals and so forth, College World Series yesterday, NC State loses to Florida 5-4. Their season comes to an end. I think in 4 trips to Omaha, this is the first time they did not win a game in Omaha, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And it's not like they were just getting shelled each game. They lost both games by 1.
They're close.
And the one against Kentucky was they had the lead going into the bottom of the 9th. Unfortunately, gave up a run to tie it, and then they lost it on a walk-off homer in the 10th. So they're right there. Right there. But NC State came up just a bit short. And honestly, early in the game was when there was the missed opportunity for State. Bottom of the 1st. Bases loaded. 1 out. They got a single to left. Scored a run. Make it 1-0. You're like, oh, that's just the first of many. Let's see if they can get a couple more. I was rooting hard for State and Carolina to get to the finals. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. But I thought, man, they're in the bottom of the 1st. State had their chances. They were right. Well, bases loaded. 1 out. Already pushed 1 run across the board. He had a strikeout looking, and then just another out. And that's all you got. You only got 1 run. And Victoria, we were live on air because the game was at 2 o'clock yesterday. We were live on there. And we said that felt like they should have got more. Then in the top of the 2nd inning, Florida gets the bases loaded.
They get hot.
They get a sacrifice fly, and then a 3-run dinger out to right center.
Yep.
Before you know it's 4-1.
Yep.
So right there early on, State, Florida, each have basically the same opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
One took advantage, the other one didn't. NC State did get a 2-run shot from Makarevich in the bottom of the 3rd inning to make it 4-3, so they closed the gap a little bit. But nonetheless, they left too many runners on base, and Elliot Avent, the head baseball coach for NC State, said so afterwards.
You talk about leaving runners on base. Good pitching staffs are going to do that, and obviously Florida has a good pitching staff, so it's not that easy. But, yeah, missed opportunities in this game will drive you crazy.
And I remember quickly, I think it was in the 6th inning, NC State got a runner, or they were down 1. NC State got a runner on first base. They tried to do a sacrifice bunt to move him into scoring position to second. The bunt popped up to the third baseman, so there was an out. Then the runner tried to steal second and got thrown out. So before you know it, you had a runner on first, no outs, and then all of a sudden it was nobody on base and 2 outs. That one stung a bit too. By the way, the athletic department at NC State had a pretty remarkable year. When you look back and you reflect, Victoria, only the 3rd school ever to have men's and women's Final Four basketball teams and a men's College World Series team.
Yeah.
Texas in 2003 did it. Louisville in 2013 did it, though their men's basketball team had to vacate that title in Final Four because, Rick Pitino.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, we're not counting that right now. And because here's the thing. They weren't an ACC school at that point, so we can just go ahead and say, nah, it didn't count.
Yeah.
But also, they're the 2nd school ever to have all those things I mentioned, men's and women's basketball Final Four and men's College World Series, and have their football team finish in the top 25.
Yeah.
That's ever.
It's impressive.
It's absolutely impressive.
This is a big year for State.
This helps your athletic department in so many ways to be featured when eyeballs are on your sports the most. Because let's be honest, casual fans generally tune in during late season and postseason, right? That's when more fans start getting a little bit locked in, especially baseball, because college baseball, they start in late January, February.
Yeah.
There's still some football that's going on, with Super Bowl and playoffs and those kinds of things. NHL's going on, so I know around the state of North Carolina, a lot of people are locked in on Canes hockey. You also have NBA's going on right now, and basketball is going on all the way through March.
Yeah, it's a lot of options.
So there's so much going on. It's like I'm not paying attention to regular season baseball.
Sure,
but
and there's also a bajillion games.
Tons.
Yeah.
Tons. There's so many games.
Right.
But then when postseason rolls around the week leading up to Memorial Day, get ACC baseball tournament. Okay, Canes are out at that point. Basketball's over, at least collegiately. Okay, I can shift my focus now. Also, a lot of people, when it comes to men's and women's collegiate basketball, they really put a lot of their attention come March. Conference tournaments, March Madness. And to have your school, in this case NC State, featured prominently in all 3 of those tournaments is massive for your school, because when casual fans and people tune in, they see NC State a lot. No, look, there's NC State. It was NC State. See this NC State school out here a lot. So there's a lot that builds on that. So again, eyeballs on your sport at the biggest time. And that's just a fact. TV ratings reflect it. So to have your school featured so prominently, now if you're State, how do you back it up? In terms of your athletic department as a whole. All right, men's basketball, how do you follow it up? Women's basketball, how do you follow it up? We've seen their cross-country team win another national championship. How do your other sports build off of what your football, baseball, men's and women's basketball teams have done?
Yeah.
Because you could say, if I'm a softball, soccer coach, or whatever it might be, I can say, hey, look what our athletic department does. We did something that no other school across the entire country was able to do. Texas, Bama, Michigan, you name it. We were able to do all this. So again, how do you build off it? And this is, again, talk about setting the tone for the future. This is what Elliot Avent, the head coach of NC State, said. This experience, again, sets the tone for next year.
We have a lot of young pitchers coming back that Sam alluded to that got a lot of valuable innings on valuable stages this year that are going to make us feel pretty good coming back. But then obviously when you think about replacing Logan Whitaker, Sam Highfield, Makaravich, Pennington, Noah Souls has been with this program so long, Jacob Cozart will be in the draft. And I don't know of anybody that outworks him or loves this game more or works at his trade and takes care of his body with what he eats and how he lives his life than Jacob Cozart. So we're going to lose some guys to the draft, possibly Eli Serrano and Butterworth. So, yeah, it's a good number of young arms coming back, and you got to have pitching to be successful.
The future, I think, is pretty bright for NC State, and the fact that I mean, how many other schools can say that they've been to this many College World Series in the last 4 years? And they went in 2021. They missed the last couple. They got back again in 2024.
Yeah, they've been in the
something to
hunt
build off.
the whole time.
Something to build
And then you've
right
got
off
Abby
of.
Lampy chasing cheese.
Exactly.
So
Talk about champions.
Mm-hmm.
Champs.
Yeah, cheese champ.
Also in College World Series coming up today at 2 o'clock. So we're less than 2 hours away from first pitch. UNC back in action. They take on Florida State. North Carolina in a very similar position that NC State was in yesterday. Win or go home. Now, FSU has already faced that situation in Omaha. They lost to Tennessee in a walk-off in their first game. They needed to beat Virginia to get to this point, and they got the job done against the Hoos. Will the Bats show up for Carolina? Against Tennessee, their pitching overall was pretty good. Now, Tennessee is the number one ranked team in this whole thing for a reason. But also Carolina, you're fourth ranked in this whole thing for a reason, too. Scott Forbes discussed the pitching being there, but the Bats needing to show up.
The guy on the mound, you got to give him credit and look at who you're facing. And hitting is contagious. I feel like the one thing that kind of lets the air out is when you get those guys on, somebody hits a ball in the gap, somebody hits a ball over the wall, somebody gets hit by a pitch. We just haven't been able to have a big inning, but we're very capable of doing that, and it can flip just like that. That's the thing about baseball.
It really can. It can flip in a moment. So all of a sudden, one guy gets on base with a hit by pitch, and then before you know, you get like a seeing eye single, and before you know, you have two runners on, and then, a wild pitch, both runners advance. Before you know, a guy drills one into the gap, 2-run score. Sometimes you just need a little luck like that. By the way, don't get me wrong, and don't get Scott Forbes wrong, pitching does still matter.
That's all you can focus on right now. I have to keep the guys away, and I'll talk to them tonight when we eat. Like, you don't look at what you have to do. You just look at what you can do right now. And that is literally going back and getting a good night's rest and hydrating. It was hot out today. Getting our good lift in tomorrow. And then when we play Florida State, I do feel like we've got enough guys that we can compete. It's a really good offensive lineup, and we'll take it pitch by pitch. And if we beat Florida State, then hopefully we'll have enough guys to compete against Tennessee again.
Do it for the rest of the ACC. Beat Florida State.
Yes, please and thank you.
Do it. Make it happen. I'm rooting for all schools in the state of North Carolina. And since NC State is out, I want to see UNC get to the finals. Simple as
Exactly.
that.
Well, and Florida making all that noise about trying to get out of the ACC.
Exactly.
It's even more like, okay, fine, leave. We'll win without you.
Make it happen. All right, last thing up. New NBA champs, Boston Celtics. 18-time champs. They took it to the Dallas Mavericks last night, 106-88, and be honest, it wasn't even really that close. Never felt like the Mavs really threatened at any time throughout the game. Here's the head coach of the Boston Celtics, Joe Mazzulla, on just everyone buying in.
You can't have a philosophy or a way of playing if you don't have a group of guys that are willing to buy into it and willing to be disciplined for it. And quite honestly, like this group of guys has been through so much in the league, they know what it takes. And so just it's more about that. When you have a group of guys that have an understanding of what it takes, using the experiences that you've been through, and that to me is more than anything. So it was a joy watching the guys just grow as a team throughout the year, but also like really work at it. There's a group of guys in that locker room that decided they wanted to win on day one, and they worked at it every single day.
Boston was one of the best teams the entire year. Just go look at the entire season. They were one of the best teams the entire year, and they were the best team throughout the entire playoffs. Lost, 3 games all postseason? And honestly, for yesterday, for that closeout game, it was the defense for Boston that did it. Jaylen Brown was phenomenal on the defensive end. Either it was Brown or sometimes it was Drew Holiday. They were picking up Luka Doncic in the backcourt on nearly every possession. So Luka either had to dribble the ball up with some pressure against him the entire length of the court, or he had to give it up right away to somebody like P.J. Washington or Kyrie or somebody else had to take the ball off the court. And honestly, it disrupted their entire offensive flow, and they had no answer. They being the Mavericks. Mavs had no answer. So he sometimes wasn't getting touches until late in the shot clock, or, again, there was no rhythm, no flow to their offense. Now, Brown was solid the entire series on both ends of the floor. He was rewarded with Finals MVP, which he reflected on postgame.
You can't have a philosophy or a way of playing if you don't.
I can't even put into words the emotions. It's just I'm blessed and I'm grateful. This was a full team effort. We had a great team. My teammates were great. Allowed me to lead us on both ends of the ball, and we came out and just performed on our home floor. It was just amazing, and it could have gone to anybody. It could have gone to Jason. Jason, I can't talk enough about his selflessness. I can't talk enough about his attitude and his just how he approached not just this series or the finals, but just the playoffs in general. And we did it together as a team, and that was the most important thing.
They did get it done together as a team. As for Jason Tatum, he was awesome yesterday. 31 points yesterday, led all scorers. Got 8 trips to the free throw line. When we talked to Brendan Whitted yesterday about the NBA Finals, and he wanted to see Jason Tatum attack the rim, get to the free throw line. Tatum, 8 for 8 from the free throw line yesterday. Also had 11 assists to go along with 8 rebounds. And for the former Duke forward, the hard work paid off.
It's a real feeling. Still hasn't really kicked in yet. Just trying, I guess, enjoy the moment. I kept saying, wow. These last 7 years have been a roller coaster, up and down. I had to listen to all the shit about me, and tonight it was worth it. Oh my God.
100% worth it. There's all this talk you hear from the national media. I'm not going to get into is he the number 1 guy or is he the 2 guy? Blah, blah, blah. No, you can sit there he and Jaylen Brown and all those guys can call themselves right now, Victoria, champs. Champion. It's he never could be a number 1 guy. Who cares? You're a champion. That's the whole point of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think so much of that is brought up by people like me, like us, and I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
Because I will say this. Yeah, there are some guys that want to be, quote unquote, the number 1 guy and all that kind of stuff. The ego and stuff gets in. For a lot of these guys, they just want to win a championship. Like Jason Tatum is very handsomely paid, and he has a title. Took him year 7 to do it. He only played 1 year in college. Dude's still super young in his career, and he has a title to show for it. By the way, wasn't the only Duke guy to win a title yesterday. Emil Jefferson, former Duke basketball player, is an assistant coach with the Boston Celtics. So Duke basketball, even though Derek Lively and Kyrie Irving for the Dallas Mavericks on the short end of the stick, and Duke basketball still has a couple guys that got rings. Tatum being one of them, Emil Jefferson as an assistant coach. This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold later on today. We're going to talk a little bit about the Stanley Cup Finals Game 5 tonight. Maybe we'll have a closeout as well. But as I mentioned at the top of the show, if you missed it, Eric Tulsky is officially the general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes. He was an assistant GM for several years, has been operating under the interim tag. Now he officially is the GM for the Carolina Hurricanes. What can Tulsky take away from the newly crowned Boston Celtics? We'll draw that parallel next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Victoria with 99.9 The Fan with a Men's Health Month tip from WakeMed Heart and Vascular. Each year, smoking causes more than 480,000 deaths in the United States. That's nearly 1 in 5 deaths. Those aren't odds you want to play with. Don't put off kicking the habit. In just 1 year after quitting, a person's risk for coronary heart disease decreases by half. Learn more about how you can quit and get started today, plus other ways to care for your heart at WakeMed.org. loancpronto.org.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money, your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Hey, it's Laura with the Good Feet store. To my fellow mothers, we can do just about anything. But sometimes, don't our bodies disagree? As a working mom of 3, those long days bouncing between the office and the kids would be even more challenging if I was suffering with foot, knee, or back pain. Almost all of my activities involve being on my feet. That's where my Good Feet arch supports come in. From playing hide and seek to walking around the office, life is go, go, go. Moms, we can't afford to let lower body pain slow us down. At the Good Feet store, we offer a 3-step system of arch supports that are personalized to your feet and your lifestyle. They're designed to work in almost any shoe, whether you're dressing for a day in the office or a walk around the neighborhood. Our arch support specialists will walk you through the benefits of each support and how they work together to reduce or even eliminate your foot, knee, and back pain. If you're looking for reliable support for your busy mom lifestyle, visit your local Good Feet store. Stop in for a free fitting and test walk or schedule an appointment at goodfeet.com.
The Honda you want is here. Now's the perfect time to drive in the moment with the rugged and capable Ridgeline, Passport, and Pilot. Find your adventure with great offers now available on the Honda you want. And when you're driving a Honda, you're driving the brand named Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value Brand for 2023.
Contact your local Carolina Honda dealer for a great deal today.
See dealer for financing details based on 2023 brand image awards from Kelley Blue Book. Visit KBB.com for more information.
When life spells heartburn, how do you spell relief? ROLAIDS.
What about when life spells fried chicken?
ROLAIDS.
Fourth cup of coffee?
Still ROLAIDS.
Extra cheesy pizza?
Rolaids always spells relief. Rolaids' powerful dual-active formula begins neutralizing acid on contact to fight your heartburn fast. So, when life spells heartburn, Rolaids spells relief. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
This is Adam Gold.
He takes the hat. It was like somebody works there, where was wearing a baseball cap. Takes it off the kid's head and puts it on the hostess station. Just takes the hat off this guy and puts it down.
Excuse you?
Like that's exactly what I went. I'm like, excuse me?
Right.
Well, what are you doing?
The Adam Gold Show.
So we have a new champion in the Boston Celtics. How can the Carolina Hurricanes draw parallels from what we saw with Boston? Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today. Victoria producing the show as always. Especially now I bring that question up. I was thinking about it today anyway, but especially now that the Carolina Hurricanes have officially announced Eric Tulsky is going to be their new general manager, I think it kind of is even more fitting. Boston had a couple of core guys that's been on their team for several years now. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. What did the Boston Celtics do? They eventually brought in some good role players, right? Guys like White, Sam Hauser. Again, complimentary role players around their stars. They also weren't afraid to take one of their core pieces or one of their solid players that they had in the past with Malcolm Brogdon. They also traded a first-round pick, actually a couple first-round picks, along with Robert Williams back in October to get Drew Holiday. They gave up quite a bit to get Drew Holiday. A pretty blockbuster deal, right? Now, again, all that was part of with the Portland Trail Blazers getting Dame Lillard, but they went and got Drew Holiday, another point guard to go with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They also were able to bring in Kristaps Porzingis. Now, Porzingis has had some injury history and things along those lines. Was actually able to play a little bit yesterday, despite not playing in game number 4. But they had their two core guys around. They had their two core guys to the Boston Celtics. Victoria, we look at some of the young core guys for the Carolina Hurricanes that have been there for a while. We're talking Sebastian Aho, Andrei Svechnikov. Seth Jarvis has been there for 3 years now. Jordan Stahl's like the wily vet that's on the team. Jacob Slavin, part of that young core as well. But Boston wasn't afraid to shake things up a little bit. Now, Boston was either in the Eastern Conference Finals or got to the NBA Finals for the last 5 years, basically. 6 years. They've been right there, but they made sure with their core guys they stuck with it, but they weren't afraid to make a couple of big moves. We saw it at the trade deadline for the Carolina Hurricanes. They made a pretty big move to bring in Jake Gensel. Now the question is, can you re-sign him? Now the NBA and the NHL are a lot different because the NHL, their salary cap, it is a truly hard salary cap. You can't go over. NBA, it's you can kind of go over it if there's the luxury tax threshold. You can get these mid-level exceptions. It's so convoluted and stupid. NHL, pretty cut and dry. So can you afford it? So my thing is you have to make sure that the complementary pieces are around your star players. And hockey, it's a little different than the NBA in the sense that, Jason Tatum can play 35 or 40 minutes of a 48-minute game. Same thing with Jaylen Brown or Drew Holiday, any of these guys. They don't have to come off the floor very much. In hockey, your star guys like Aho, Svech, Jarvis, they're playing maybe 20 minutes a night? Maybe 20 minutes a night? It's a 60-minute game. What are you doing the other 40? The other pieces around your star players have to matter. This is why I say, as much as I want Jake Gensel to come back, and I really, truly hope he does, I hope the Carolina Hurricanes do not overspend to keep him because it's going to prevent you from putting a solid team around the rest of your star players. Prime example, Victoria, I know you watch the NHL postseason all the time.
Oh, yeah, religiously.
Toronto Maple Leafs?
Yeah.
They got studs up front, right? They got
Austin
Matthews, Mitch Marner, William Nylander, John Tavares. After you get after that, plateau down to the rock bottom floor. Mm-hmm. And they got nothing around that. Nothing. This is why I hope the Carolina Hurricanes don't do that. Carolina Hurricanes have to continue to value what's around your star players and not just spend money on just stars and just be basically stars and scrubs. You can't be that.
Yeah, you got to have depth.
You have to because, again, your star player plays 20 minutes of a 60-minute game. Mm-hmm. The other 40 minutes you can't fill with just plugs. Can't fill it with beer leaguers like me.
You can lose a whole game in 2 minutes.
Exactly. So. We've seen it happen before.
Many times.
Now, I get you want to have those heavy hitters in terms of your goal scorers, right? The dudes that can fill up the back of the net. I totally get it. But how you piece together your team is vital. And what Boston did, they went and made sure they got the guys that complemented each other and that understood the roles that they were going to play. That's what they were able to do. And they stuck with their process. I know Sixers fans are triggered right now. Trust the process. But that's, I think, what good teams do. It's what good franchises do. Now, if you're, again, going to draw the parallels, look at the last 6 years for the Carolina Hurricanes. 2019, they get to the Eastern Conference Finals. 2020, this whole COVID bubble mess going on, they still win their opening round in the postseason that year. 2021, they get to the second round. 2022, they get to the second round. 2023, they get to the Eastern Conference Finals. 2024, they get to the second round. They're knocking on the door. Much like the Boston Celtics have been knocking on the door. Eventually, you hope, your plan is for them to kick the darn thing down. That's the goal, right? My hope for Eric Tulsky is that the decisions that he makes this offseason is that you get the complementary piece like what Derek White was to Boston as another shooter. You hope that you bring in that guy. Al Horford is like that aged veteran. Yeah, he doesn't really get it much done on the defensive end, but he can still pick and pop and shoot threes. That veteran guy that's been on your team for a bit, you hope that's what Jordan Stahl is going to be, right? Or maybe you go get a veteran to step in when you need him to, or to be a depth piece, like Paul Stastny was a couple years ago when they got to the Eastern Conference Finals. Maybe you find the Sam Hauser, who played at Virginia, by the way, who, again, comes off the bench, can shoot threes, play some defense, again, knows his role. You have to have the complementary pieces around your stars. And Carolina Hurricanes, they have the young stars on their team. They have Aho, Svechnikov, Jarvis. Those are young stars. Slavin, young stars to build around. They've already re-signed one of your complementary pieces. That's Jalen Chatfield. You still need your heart and soul guy with Jordan Martinook. You have to have that guy back. But there are a lot of holes that the Carolina Hurricanes have to fill this offseason. And Eric Tulsky, as the general manager, you're part of the group that's making those decisions. You're the front-facing guy. So the decisions that you bring to the table, or the opportunities and proposals you bring to the table for the rest of the group, because the Carolina Hurricanes, when they make these decisions in terms of personnel, it's a group choice. You have to bring to the table, this is the reason why this guy complements our team. If we can get him at this price point, this is what's going to benefit us. Canes have a lot of holes to fill. They still need a second-line center. Are you going to trade Martin Necas, or what are you getting back? I hope they don't go the route of, hey, you know what? Let's just break the bank for Jake Gensel, and then we're just going to fill with a bunch of guys who really shouldn't be there. Because otherwise, you're just the Toronto Maple Leafs. And they stink. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. If you miss any of the show, make sure you check out the Best of the Adam Gold Show podcast wherever podcasts are found. Also, if you want to interact with this show even further, go to YouTube, search 99.9 The Fan, 99.9 The Fan. 99.9 The Fan is the flagship station of the Adam Gold Show. So if you search for that on YouTube, you can subscribe there. Make sure you do so. And then also you could stream and watch the show live that way. You can leave thoughts in the comment section on the live stream right now, including like Jay Kirk, love your show, but hold on, which beer league are you in? He's asked me which beer league I play in. Jay Kirk, I play in the Raleigh Iceplex right there off Capitol Boulevard. Intermediate C-level hockey. But nonetheless, you can interact with the show through that form as well. And there's also videos that are posted. You can leave thoughts in the comment section as well. Victoria, we read these comments. We do. And we interact with people. I actually really enjoy interacting with people on that platform.
I keep it up to see what, people are saying. On
Exactly.
Fridays, I like to say Happy Friday to everyone.
That you do.
Not there yet.
Not there yet, but it is Tuesday, and at 12:45 every Tuesday, Victoria tees up. One-timers coming up.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Trust ACT Construction Equipment and Avant Articulated Loaders for the right equipment to help get your work done. Avant makes the most multifunctional loaders in the world. Whether you're a landscaping pro or homeowner serious about property maintenance, you need an Avant loader. ACT Construction Equipment is your authorized Avant dealer for sales, service, parts, and rentals. Visit one of our 7 locations or actce.com for more details about Avant Articulated Loaders. ACT Construction Equipment, always the right equipment for the job.
Some call it overplanning. At Alternative Power, we call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Generac, it's not just a generator, it's a power move. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
Deep in the Sandhills sits a North Carolina gem, Pinehurst. Uncover the stories behind this legendary golf destination in the new PBS NC special. It's a beautiful day in Pinehurst. Step onto its hallowed grounds, where golf's greatest players have made history, and learn what sets Pinehurst apart, from its humble origins to its modern-day status as the cradle of American golf. Stream It's a Beautiful Day in Pinehurst for free now on the PBS app.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell has a great sense of timing, like bringing out Southern Blackberry Cobbler ice cream in time for summer. Rich ice cream with luscious blackberry flavor combined with flaky pie crust pieces and a blackberry swirl. The perfect summertime treat.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Elder Abuse Awareness Day is in June, and scams and fraud that target older adults is one of the worst forms of abuse. Learn how to identify, prevent, and report scams with the AARP Fraud Watch Minutes, available for you to view on YouTube. Search AARP North Carolina Minute and look for the AARP North Carolina Fraud Watch Minutes on YouTube. Learn more about this topic and others each week on AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts. You don't need a 4-year degree to have a rewarding career that makes a difference in people's lives every day. As a public power line worker, you'll build and maintain a locally owned and operated electric system to keep the lights on in your community. 4 months in a community college program provides the training you need to begin your career as an apprentice line worker in public power. And being a local government employee in North Carolina comes with excellent benefits. To learn more about line worker and other public power careers, visit electricities.com.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
When your kid can't find the language, find the lyrics at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Pivotal Ventures.
This is Adam Gold.
North Carolinians wagered $659,308,541 on sports.
It's a little bit.
Treat it as entertainment only. Just look at it as fun.
The Adam Gold Show.
All right, this time every single day on the Adam Gold Show. By the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for AG today. Victoria tees it up. One-timers. Let's get it going.
Okay, so with the news of the Carolina Hurricanes now officially making him our new GM, Just a general kind of overview. Like or dislike this choice?
So Eric Tulsky, if you missed it, Eric Tulsky is the general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes. He's been operating as the assistant general manager for basically the last 4 weeks. I think it was May 24th is when he officially became the interim general manager, promoted from assistant GM, a title that he's had since 2020. I like the move for 2 reasons. One, if you're successful, I generally like promoting from within, especially if that person you're promoting has been part of your success and been part of the process for it. The way the Carolina Hurricanes operate operate in terms of how they make personnel decisions. I know Adam Gold has talked about this plenty, but in case you're maybe unfamiliar, it is a group decision. It's not the general manager making all the calls, signing all the deals, and then consulting with his assistant GMs and all that kind of stuff. It is a truly group decision. So it was Waddell. It's been Eric Tulsky. It is Darren York, who's the assistant general manager, and the owner, Tom Dundon. That was kind of the group. Everything was made together. I'm sure Rob Brindamore had some input on those decisions as well. But nonetheless, I like A, promoting from within, and B, you have somebody that understands your process. I like it. I'm for it.
Okay. Well, next up, what do you believe will be Eric's biggest move, or should be now that he is official? Not what he's been done, like what's done before, but now that he's official, what's the biggest move?
Oh, a couple come to mind. The reason why I'm going to say this one, because this is the one that I think can get done first, and I think it's the Seth Jarvis contract extension. Because you want to make sure that you know for the next 8 years, because I'm sure you could probably sign Seth Jarvis to an 8-year extension worth $8 million a year. I mean, that's slightly more than what Andrei Svechnikov is making. So you know going forward with the other free agents that you sign and other future decisions that you make, you know exactly how much you're paying that guy, and he's going to be locked in for a certain amount of time. And also, Sebastian Aho's contract extension kicks in this year. That means you would have Aho and Jarvis under contract together for the next 8 years. The primes of their career. That is what you want. And Svech is under contract for another 6 years. The primes of their career. That is what you want. I know some people might say Jake Gensel. That's honestly where I was leaning to a bit as well. But Jake Gensel, unless he decides, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and sign right now, he's going to get to July 1st and he's going to test free agency. Not that the door's closed for Carolina to bring him back, but nonetheless, he is going to get there.
Yeah. Well, so last one regarding the Canes. Now, since there's basically one less body involved because Don Waddell's gone, Eric now took his spot, so no one's really taking Eric's spot that we know of thus far. Is there someone that you feel would be a good, filler of this gap, I guess you could say?
I think...
Or the type.
My guess is based off what I know Adam Gold and I've had these conversations. I know Adam has talked about it on air. It's likely going to be maybe a consultant for Eric Tulsky. Is that someone within the organization? Is that a Justin Williams? Justin Williams is already part of your organization. I mean, honestly, it wouldn't hurt to be like, hey, Justin, what do you think of this guy? Do you think this guy has what it takes to A, be part of this culture, and B, part of this system, and can he get it done in the playoffs?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think we
this
need
is
a
a
hockey
move we're
person.
thinking about making. What do you think of this guy? Maybe just a consultant in that regard because, like you said, Victoria, you described it perfectly. There's one less guy in that room right now, at least that we know of.
Yeah.
Now, they might, if they want to maybe promote someone from their pro scouting department, possibly to be an assistant general manager role, to be part of those decisions, maybe. We'll see. But I still think they either at least get a consultant or maybe they do find a GM or promote somebody from within once again.
Yeah, they definitely need a hockey guy in there. Now, moving on to, hey, why not just more hockey, but tonight's hockey, the game between the Oilers and the Panthers, another elimination game. Please keep going, Oilers. I want more hockey. So, in this,
all right. Hey, that's fair. I respect that.
I just want more hockey. I don't want it to be over. So, which players on either team, either or both, do you see stepping up in this game or should step up in this game?
If you're the Florida Panthers, you hope that Sergei Bobrovsky has a bounce back because that dude got shelled. He gave up 5 goals and got yanked in the middle of the second period in that 8-1 shellacking the other day. So if you're the Florida Panthers, you're hoping that it's him.
Oh, yeah, he will. Bob's going to be a brick wall.
He probably will be. If you are Edmonton, obviously the answer you want to be like, oh, well, you hope McDavid still is, awesome. McDavid had a goal and 3 assists in that 8-1 rout the other day. To me, a guy who's skating alongside either McDavid or he's skating alongside Leon Draisaitl, it's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has been with the Edmonton Oilers for a while. He gets a ton of power play time, and he skates alongside 2 of the best players in the world in McDavid and Draisaitl. That guy's got to capitalize. He has to capitalize on some scoring chances. Here's a funny stat for you, Victoria.
Yeah.
So in that 8-1 rout the other day by the Edmonton Oilers, they only gave up 1 goal. So in the NHL, they have a stat called plus minus. You actually see it in basketball now, too. But plus minus, which means if you're on the ice for a goal at even strength, you get a plus. If you're on the ice for an even strength goal against, you get a minus.
Right.
Now, if you're on the ice for a power play and you give up a shorthanded goal, you get a minus. Vice versa, if you're on the penalty kill and you score, you get a plus. Now, if you score on the power play, you don't get a plus or a minus. It's just, you're supposed to. You have an extra guy. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins was the only skater for the Edmonton Oilers in that game to be a minus player. Your team won 8-1, and he scored a goal, too, because he scored on the power play.
Even Nurse? Because he's been in the minus a lot
He's been
lately.
in the minus a ton, but he was like a +3.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
Ryan
saying
Nugent-Hopkins in the 8-1 blowout wins, the only guy on the team to have a minus.
If Nurse isn't even joining him in the minus club, that's saying
I know.
something.
It's just, and it's also a funny stat as well. Derek Ryan, who's a former Carolina Hurricane, plays for the Edmonton Oilers. Of the 12 forwards, he's the only one that didn't get a point.
Wow.
But here's what Derek Ryan's there to do. He's there to just win faceoffs and kill penalties. That's always what he's there to do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's see. Our
Got
next one, let's go to the NBA.
Yes.
So, a lot of people had I think Vegas even had the Dallas Mavericks as the favorite in this series potentially, or at least earlier in the season. I know that they were very favored in winning the whole thing. However, what do you think the biggest reason for their collapse was, or was it more just Boston is that good?
Boston was just overall just a top-to-bottom better team. And I think that core group of guys has been there together for so long. And they just, again, experience matters. Having gotten to the Eastern Conference Finals and the NBA Finals multiple times over the last several years for Boston, they learned and drew from that experience. So I think experience was the difference. And I also think this offseason is big for Luka Doncic for the Dallas Mavericks. He's got to commit himself to being a better defender. Even if he's just middle-of-the-line average defender, it elevates that team. He's got to commit himself. The dude could score. We all know that. Got to commit himself to the defensive side of the ball. 1 hour down here, the Adam Gold Show. Coming up, I'm going to give you the top 5 priorities for Eric Tulsky, the new general manager of the Canes, coming up.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
If you see me stopped in the McDonald's drive-thru, just staring at the menu with my "what should I order" face, don't interrupt. It's the most important decision I'll make all day.
Enjoy savings every day when you get a McDouble, McChicken, and other faves. Buy one, get one for $1. Plus, get any size Dr. Pepper for just $1.29. Price and participation may vary. Valid for product of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Houston, permission to detach boosters. Negative, Commander. You're off course for the moon. Sensors show something massive on board. Did you bring additional items?
Only the new loaded scratch-offs.
Those are loaded with $50, $100, $500, and $2,000 prizes. You're on a trajectory towards Mars.
Nice. First person on Mars. Take that, billionaires.
New loaded scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Massive amounts of prizes. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.8 to 4.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Picture this. The perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities. Just all your friends, burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Grilling. Better with Pepsi.
For a limited time, get 2 20-ounce Pepsis for only $4.25 at Refuel. So hurry in and enjoy an ice-cold Pepsi today.
Hey, have you heard the amazing news from Boost Mobile? When you switch to Boost, you get a Samsung Galaxy A15 5G or Moto G Stylus 5G for free. Need another reason to switch? Boost offers high-speed data at low prices with no annual contracts and no credit checks. Switching is easy. Just head to your local Boost Mobile store for a free Samsung Galaxy A15 5G or Moto G Stylus 5G. New customers only. Requires port-in and ID verification. Other restrictions apply. See participating stores for details.
The light is fading, your hands are sore, and the last tool has been put away. Now is the time to feel the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. But when you get your tools from Harbor Freight, something about the job feels a little different. Your wallet. Because we believe that everyone deserves hardworking tools at hardworking prices. And that's what we have here. So, whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Attention soccer fans, North Carolina FC invites you to be part of the excitement. Join us in our electrifying games with top-tier players, thrilling goals, and unforgettable moments. Experience the thrill of this beautiful game with North Carolina FC. Get your tickets now, northcarolinafc.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
He scores! What a comeback!
Visit GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
The Oilers break the other way with a 2-on-1 shorthanded. Connor Brown comes in, takes it behind the net, put it right into the crease, and they score! It's Matthias Janmark, shorthanded.
Oh, this place is electric.
McDavid the other way, scores! High, short side, speed kills. It's 4-1. Fogle leads the rush, snaps a pass over, and a nice job coming back by Mikula, but the loose puck is deposited by the trailer, Ryan McLeod. And this one can't end soon enough for the Florida Panthers.
Thankfully, it did end for the Florida Panthers, which, by the way, that game tonight, Game 5, Stanley Cup Finals between the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers. I'm looking forward to it tonight. I know Victoria is looking forward to it as well. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Thanks so much for tuning in and tapping in with us today. I know Victoria, producer of the show, as always, is locked in on the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. And I know she's locked in as we have a little second start here, our take two. I know, Victoria, you've been locked in on the Carolina Hurricanes this offseason.
Oh, yeah.
Including, if you have not heard the news yet today, the Carolina Hurricanes announced this at about 11 o'clock today, that Eric Tulsky is the new general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes. Owner Tom Dundon announced that in a press release today. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., Eric Tulsky will have his introductory press conference tomorrow. So stay locked in here with the Adam Gold Show tomorrow. Adam will be back I know he's going to have plenty of takes and stuff on Eric Tulsky being the new GM.
Oh, yeah, we're already texting.
Sure.
Yeah.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt. I'm surprised he hasn't called in to this show.
Adam, what are you doing?
I really am surprised he hasn't called in to the show.
I know.
But nonetheless, make sure you follow A Gold Fan on Twitter. That's where you can follow Adam. He's already been talking about some takes and different things like that regarding the offseason, or regarding the Eric Tulsky move, and some things that Eric Tulsky can do this offseason. For those who may not know who Eric Tulsky is, he was a consultant with the team back in 2014, became a full-time part of the team back in 2015, running a lot of video scouting and analytics and things along those lines, helping with the pro scouting department starting in 2018, became an assistant general manager in 2020, and at that point, he had a hand in an influence in every single decision personnel-wise that the Carolina Hurricanes have made, because the Carolina Hurricanes make a group effort. They make a group choice. It's the owner, Dundon. It was assistant general manager Eric Tulsky, assistant general manager Darren York. It was the former general manager and team president, Don Waddell. They were making these decisions together. Don Waddell left for the Columbus Blue Jackets back last month, so the last 4 weeks, Eric Tulsky has been operating as interim GM. We've already seen him make one move, Victoria. Jalen Chatfield, defenseman, was re-signed for 3 years at $3 million a year. Great move on both sides. Great value for both Chatfield and for the Carolina Hurricanes. Tremendous player. We actually talked to him last week on Friday, so make sure you subscribe to the Best of the Adam Gold Show podcast or on 99.9 The Fan's YouTube page. 99.9 The Fan being the flagship station of the Adam Gold Show. That conversation is posted there. But now going into this offseason, now that the Canes officially have, all right, this is who the GM is going to be. This is the guy, is our general manager, at least the face of the operation, outside of the owner, Tom Dundon. Five things, Victoria, that I want to see done between now, let's say July 1st.
Okay.
Because July 1st is when free agency begins.
Yep.
The reason why I put that deadline on it is because some things officially can't happen until July 1st.
Yeah.
But basically over the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's going to jump right in. Fast.
I mean, he's already been in it.
Yeah, but now it's like, all right, sir, you got the title.
Priority number 1, Seth Jarvis contract extension. Seth Jarvis, 21 years old, just finished his entry-level contract. Now, he's a restricted free agent, so there's a little bit less of a rush. But the last thing you need to do is have some team come out there and try and do an offer sheet on him or something like that. Don't play with your food. Get the deal done now with Seth Jarvis because, again, he's 21 years old. Doesn't turn 22 until during the season in February, so he's a little bit on the younger side of that 21. You can sign him right now to an 8-year contract extension. So basically, he'd be 28, turning 29 during the final year of that contract. You would have Seth Jarvis locked up for the true prime of his career. And you don't got to worry about it. He and Sebastian Aho, you would have them both locked up for the next 8 years. That, to me, priority number 1. Because he, 1, is trusted by his teammates. 2, he's trusted by his head coach. And third of all, he's quickly becoming one of the faces of your franchise. Seth Jarvis could be the, for example, the running mate of, for Pittsburgh Penguins. You had Crosby and you had Malkin, right? Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin. In Washington, you had Alex Ovechkin and Nick Backstrom together for such a long time. Edmonton Oilers, who are playing right now in the Stanley Cup Finals. You have Connor McDavid, you have Leon Draisaitl. Aho and Jarvis could be those two guys. Along with Svech as well. Don't forget about that guy, too. Number 1, make sure you sign Seth Jarvis to a long-term contract extension. Number 2, this is actually something that needs to get done before the NHL draft, which is on Friday the 28th. That's Friday next week, folks. Crazy to think about. Decide what you're doing with Martin Necas. Are you trading him? If so, get it done before the draft gets done. Get it done before the draft gets done. Or the draft even starts. The reason why I say put that deadline on is because other teams might swap current draft picks for this year for other players, because other teams might be interested in, hey, let's get draft capital, let's kind of rebuild for the future. So teams might make some moves and like, well, we're not going to offer you a player that's able to play right now because we've already made some other decisions because we had to wait on you and you played with your food. Get the deal done before the draft. Carolina wants to get an NHL caliber player, not just an NHL caliber player, but like a star player in return, right? It's like a high-end player trade for a high-end player. That's what you want. Get it done before the draft. Because you might actually go into the NHL draft with like, hey, let's actually trade our third-round pick for this year for a player that's currently on another team's roster. TV like, yeah, that's fine. We're looking to rebuild anyway. We'll take your third-round pick, and we'll send you this, defenseman that can play on your third defense pair. Whatever it might be, you got to get those decisions done before the draft. Third one, something that needs to take place before July 1st, re-sign Jordan Martinook. I've said it before. I'll say it again. He's the heart and soul of your locker room, Jordan Martinook. He's one of the leaders in your locker room, and he has been vital to the turnaround of your franchise the last 6 years. Because as much as we bring up Aho and Svetch and Slavin and Natchez and some of these other guys and Jordan Stahl that have been with this, and Brett Pesce that have been with this team for the last 6 years in that core group, Jordan Martinook is as much a part of that as anyone else. Because Carolina brought him in at the start of the 2018-2019 season. They brought him in from the Arizona Coyotes. And that guy has embraced this. He's embraced the state. He's embraced the city of Raleigh, but he's embraced the fan base. He's well-liked in that locker room. He's a vocal leader on that team. Also, he's a pretty darn good hockey player, too, that gets the job done on the ice. And there are things, I know Eric Tulsky in that front office, they're very big on analytics and numbers. But one thing you can't quantify is heart and hustle. You just can't do it. Go back to Game 6 against the New York Rangers. Go back to Game 6. Second period, puck leaks through a little bit on Freddie Anderson, who's busting his tail, skating back, and sliding into the net and saving the puck just before it completely crosses the goal line. It's Jordan Martinook. Heart, soul, hustle, play. You can't quantify that. That guy needs to be in your locker room. Get Jordan Martinook back on this team. Fourth priority. So again, 1, Jarvis, long-term deal. 2, figure out what you're doing with Natchez and his trade. 3, Martinook. 4, this can only be officially done on July 1st. It's a Jacob Slavin long-term contract extension. Jacob Slavin has 1 year left on his deal. 1 year left. He's a core group. He's part of your core group, and he's also one of the best defensemen in the entire NHL. Now, he doesn't have quote-unquote offensive numbers that some of the other guys do. He's the best defender in the NHL. And he's respected around the league by other players as being such. You're just going to let that guy walk? No, you're not. He's a great skater. He doesn't rely heavily on physicality, and he's got great stick work. His game will age well. Much like we've seen Brent Burns still playing at a pretty high level at age 38, 39. Jacob Slavin's game will age well. Get a long-term deal done with him. And last but not least, number 5. I know Freddie Anderson's been with this franchise for a few years now. But now the time is to let Pyotr Kochetkov take the reins as your 1A guy. I think the time is now to figure out, can you upgrade behind Kochetkov? Freddie Anderson only has 1 year left on his deal. Just 1. Now, there's been so many goalies that have been linked this offseason, apparently, to the Carolina Hurricanes, from Josh Gibson in Anaheim to Jacob Markstrom out there in Calgary to Linus Allmark up there in Boston. But figure out what your solution is going to be in goal after not just this season, but for after this season as well. You got Kochetkov locked up. That should be your number one guy, is Kochetkov moving forward. Prove that he can. He needs to prove that he can be the guy. He's going to be a full-time NHLer, as Walt Ruff on Hurricanes.com wrote about earlier today. He's going to be a full-time NHLer next year. Time to turn the reins over to him.
Yes.
But you need to figure out, Victoria, who's the complementary piece to him.
Yeah, I know.
Because, again, Freddie Anderson, just 1 year left on his deal, age 34. If you bring him back this year, he's probably not going to be that number 2 guy behind Kochetkov after this year. Need to figure that out. And you can start figuring that out right now.
I love Spunky Piotr. I love him.
The moment that he endeared himself to Carolina Hurricanes fans was back in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
When Freddie Anderson was hurt and Antti Raanta had to start in the playoffs in that opening round series against the Boston Bruins.
Yes.
Antti Raanta was the goalie of that series. Raanta got run over by David Pastrnak.
He did.
I think it was in game 2, got knocked out of the game. Pyotr Kochetkov, rookie, comes in. Brad Marchand, the rat himself,
tried to test him,
slashing at him, all that stuff. Kochetkov, probably speaking in a language that I don't understand, but I'm pretty
said, "Come at me, bro."
in
whatever that language
in whatever
is.
language that was. Just started barking at him and skating towards Marchand, and Marchand's like, "Wait, what? What is this guy doing?"
He's biting back.
Canes fans were like, "That's my guy." Yes! That guy is like, "I'm not afraid of you. I don't care who you are. Let's go."
That's the day he stole our hearts.
Let's go. And you know what? He's also a damn good goaltender, too.
Yes, on top of that.
He's also a damn good goaltender,
Love him.
too. This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Canes, again, Eric Tulsky is their new general manager. It is official as of today. College World Series is taking place. By the way, UNC baseball, first pitch is about 47 minutes away.
Yep.
But one team out of the College World Series, NC State. We always see the triumph. We see the celebration. But there's the agony of losing, and there's always the sad side to sports. I'll talk about that coming up.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Bryce Young is a lot of things, but the one thing you need to make sure you do going into year 2 for the Panthers is don't make Bryce Young try to be anyone but Bryce Young. Jadeveon Clowney told the media that Bryce is quiet. Deontay Johnson told him that he's loud and he talks a lot. Which one is it? It doesn't matter. Just make sure his leadership style is his.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Everyone and everything is trying to become more streamlined, more efficient these days, so why not you? Adam Gold here from my friends at Travers LASIK and Dr. Lori Travers, the Triangle's only LASIK specialist, and this is your chance to streamline your day-to-day. If you are a contact lens or glasses wearer, get rid of everything involved, the lenses, the cleaning, the trips to the store, the replacement lenses and glasses, and the cost that comes with them. So how about we hit up Travers LASIK. Get Dr. Lori Travers to work her magic, 5 minutes per eye. You could go back to work the very next day. That may or may not be a selling point. Plus, they're offering $1,000 off, 0% financing for qualified customers. And if you are not sure if you can afford it, just go to TraversLASIK.com. Check out their affordability calculator. Very official. The consultation is free. 919-510-6830. TraversLASIK.com. Travers LASIK. See what you've been missing.
It's bow time. Listen up, because we've got some big news to share. You might want to sit down for this. Bow Sauce is back at Bojangles. If you think you missed it, just imagine how our Supremes must have felt. Because there's no better sauce to pair with our crispy golden chicken Supremes. They're already boldly seasoned to perfection, but add Bow Sauce and you can taste a truly legendary combination that will make you want to yell, "It's bow time." So don't wait. Grab a Supreme and dip into some Bow Sauce. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time.
Time to stop whatever you're doing to satisfy your craving for flavor with a Bojangles Chicken Supremes dinner. Choose a 3-piece or 4-piece Supremes dinner. Get your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea. And don't forget the sauce for dipping, because Bo Sauce is back. That's right, Bo Sauce is back. Hungry for flavor and value and love the Bo Sauce? Then it's Bo time.
Hank Bauer, Chairman, ABC Commission. And we're here to talk about Talk It Out NC.
Part of this program, there's situations that show the kids how to get out of these situations, because peer pressure is a big thing at this age.
Sure.
So if someone's pressuring an 8th grader, hey, have this drink, we're drinking, have a drink. We have programs where it's set up that they can text their parents an X, and that's the red light. Hey, call me, tell me it's time to come home, come get me. So there are a lot of great things as far as Talk It Out.
The website, talkitoutnc.org.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Adam Gold.
Thank you very much for your time, man. We will talk again.
Adam, anytime for you, my friend.
Thank you. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Why does that make me laugh?
I don't know. Maybe you just are used to people being mean to you or something, like Twitter. I don't know.
The Adam Gold Show.
So the College World Series is taking place right now. North Carolina in an elimination game against Florida State. That game's actually coming up shortly. In about 45 minutes or so, first pitch. NC State knocked out. Yesterday they lost to Florida 5-4. Now, I remember speaking of the game real fast, thought NC State had an opportunity early to really cash in on some runs in the bottom of the first inning. They had bases loaded, just one out. They got a single to left field. They got one run across the plate. And I was like, man, they have a chance right here to just bust this game open right away and put the pressure on Florida right from the get-go. Right from the get-go. They only got one run in that situation. Just one. Top of the second inning, immediately following that, similar situation for Florida. They got bases loaded. They got a sac fly to score one to tie the game. And they got a 3-run homer right after that. Open the floodgates for 4-1 Florida. Now, NC State in the third inning, Makarevich hit a 2-run homer to cut the deficit down to 1 for NC State. But they weren't able to fully close the gap. Florida got a run, made it 5-3. NC State got a run to make it 5-4, but that was it. They were right there the whole time. And I remember post-game, I listened to the post-game, the NC State broadcast, and hearing the players at the podium as well as head coach Elliot Avent. I remember actually Sam Highfill, one of the pitchers for NC State who pitched against Kentucky, spoke. And we often see the celebration, right? Like, for example, in the NBA Finals yesterday, the Boston Celtics win. We see the post-game in the locker room, the champagne, guys are wearing goggles and stuff to protect their eyes. The lockers are covered with plastic and all that kind of stuff. We see that, right? We see the confetti come down. We see the trophies being handed out. We see that. But there is the agony side of sports. There's always the sad side of the team that doesn't get there. And it's not just the sad side of the team that doesn't get there or doesn't win it. There's the sad side of sports that I think a lot of people do not realize. For so many athletes, the sport retires you not the other way around. So again, listening to the postgame presser yesterday for NC State, hear the players talk about their college careers being done. Again, including hearing Sam Highfill postgame say, you don't know when your last game is going to be. Fighting back tears. And he pitched against Kentucky. Pitched 7 innings. Only gave up 3 runs. And he was on the team, NC State, back in 2021 that went to Omaha that had to deal with that heartbreak too. When I heard all of that, when I was listening to that, my heart sank. Because I've been there before. And a lot of those emotions that those guys were experiencing and expressing, they all came right back to me. I played lacrosse in college. When it was over, it was over. Because something special that's been part of your life, you'll never get to do it again. This is something that happens with so many athletes. Doesn't matter what level it is. You could be a high-end Division I baseball player, a football player, basketball player, or you're playing Division III or Division II. No matter what the sport is, could be volleyball, lacrosse, whatever. Sure, in some sports, some athletes might get a shot to go pro. Yeah, there's adult leagues out there and such for you to continue to play in and, get the little competitive juices flowing for a little bit. But it's not the same. It's not even close. Not saying that you can't have great experiences with your sport that you play in some way, shape, or form, whether it's coaching or watching family members or a friend play, but you yourself can't do it again. Every athlete wishes they could have that one more day, that one more game. I had to see it, and I also coached lacrosse. I coached college lacrosse for 9 years. I had to see that heartbreak so many times. Every year, when the final game ended, seeing my players, again, especially the seniors, pour their eyes out, it always hit me because I knew exactly how much it meant to their team. I knew exactly what they were feeling. When I heard the NC State players yesterday, and again, when I heard Sam Highfill talk about it, fighting through tears talking about it, that hit me hard. And it always does, because it brings me right back to the moment. May of 2008, on the road at Marywood College in Pennsylvania. That was where my last game ended. After my last game, we lost by 1 in our regular season finale, and we missed out on our conference tournament because we were in this 3-way tie for 2 spots, and we were the odd team left out. And in a moment, much like the NC State baseball players or guys for Virginia, or, again, name your team and sport. In one moment, you went from athlete to former athlete. The sport retires you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, you can try to fight it, but it won't work.
It doesn't. It even happens professionally for a lot of guys. There are a lot of guys that try to make training camp rosters and in the NFL, and they bounce around to practice squad. All of a sudden, the phone stops ringing. Did they get to choose when they got to end it? No. It was chosen for them. The sport retires you. And there's a void that's left there. A lot of athletes struggle filling that void because something that's been part of your life for basically your entire life is no longer there. It's gone. I mean, athletes in sports, for even collegiately, this takes up most of your time, is your sport. And then all of a sudden, it's pulled away. It's gone. It's done. It's like, I can't do it anymore. The only thing I can do is stand and watch it. It's pulled away. How do you fill that void? And a lot of athletes struggle with it. Now, some, they're able to fill it with whatever job they get into, whatever profession they want to get into, whether it's postgraduate studies, some it's coaching. Some may not have that void ripped out because they're able to play professionally. But that's the rare, rare few. So when we see our favorite teams and our favorite players, when we see seasons come to an end, especially at the college level, understand that for athletes, there is the sad side of it too. Because what's been so precious and what you work so hard to get, it's gone. It's gone. There have been a few moments post my lacrosse career where I've had a couple of great moments in the sport of lacrosse, whether it was coaching and still playing and doing a couple of different things. Nothing fills that space. Nothing does. So yeah, when I heard NC State yesterday post-game, I knew exactly what they were feeling. I've felt it before, and hearing it brought all these emotions back up. So yeah, my heart breaks for those guys. It's a sad feeling. And unfortunately for most, that's how it is. It's a sad reality, but it truly is a reality. This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Speaking of teams winning and losing yesterday, NBA Finals Game 5, Boston Celtics just straight took the boots to the Dallas Mavericks yesterday. Just straight took it to them, Victoria.
They were ready to be done.
106-88 wasn't even that close.
No.
And you know what? I think that's the sign. We actually said it yesterday. Game 5 is going to be more telling about the Boston Celtics than it was going to be about the Dallas Mavericks. Because in Game 4, the Dallas Mavericks blew out the Celtics.
Yeah.
Well, the Celtics had a chance to win the whole thing. Okay. What's the bounce back going to look like? It's going to be more telling about the Boston Celtics than I think about the Dallas Mavericks. Told me everything I needed to know already about that Boston Celtics team. They're the best team in all season. But they had the mental toughness to drive home the hammer, right? To put the last nail in the coffin, whatever analogy, phrase, cliche thing you want to use. They got it done. And in overwhelming fashion. They didn't mess around. Wasn't a close game where they had to eke something out. No, they said, let's close this thing out. Let's take care of business. Let's get it done. And that's exactly what they did. Jaylen Brown, your finals MVP. Well-deserved, well-earned. He was awesome the entire series for the most part. And here's what impressed me most about Brown. It wasn't the scoring or the offensive production. It was the defensive side of the ball. It was the defensive side of the ball. We saw yesterday Jaylen Brown, for the most part, sometimes it was Drew Holiday, picked up Dallas Mavericks guard Luka Doncic, played him 94 feet. Basically picked him up as soon as Dallas inbounded the basketball on the baseline. One of those guys was right there in front of Luka Doncic's face. So either if Luka Doncic got the ball, he had to do one of two things. He either had to immediately give it up and let someone else take the ball up the floor. And then Jaylen Brown was applying pressure off ball to make sure that Luka Doncic had a difficult time getting the ball back. Or it forced Luka Doncic to bring the ball up the floor with pressure the entire way, even as he crossed the midline. Completely took Dallas out of their rhythm. You got to give Jaylen Brown a lot of credit. Again, Drew Holiday played a factor into that sometimes too, picking him up. But also it's on head coach Joe Mazzulla. Hey, let's make Luka Doncic uncomfortable. Let's ruin their rhythm. Let's ruin the Dallas Mavericks rhythm. Got to give that to the coaching as well.
Yeah, and it worked.
It worked, yeah. Mm-hmm. It worked emphatically yesterday.
Yeah.
Dallas had no sense of flow in the offense.
No,
yesterday.
They had no response to any of that.
Nothing. Not a thing. I can think this is, again, where experience matters. The Boston Celtics got into the NBA Finals or the Eastern Conference Finals so many times in the last 6 years or so. They've basically been Eastern Conference Finals or NBA Finals the last 6 years, basically. They've had some heartbreaks. Remember last year against the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals, they went down 3-0, fought back to a Game 7, and then lost in Game 7 to the Miami Heat. Having that experience, they were able to draw on that. All right. We're able to understand this situation more. Now we know what it's like to finish out a series, to close out a series. They did it, and they got it done yesterday. That experience matters. As for Jason Tatum, former Duke basketball star, he was great yesterday. He had his best game of the finals in the closeout win. 31 points, led all players in scoring yesterday, had 11 assists, had 8 rebounds. When we talked to Brendan Wittig yesterday, one thing that he said when I asked him about Tatum, feels like there's another level offensively for Tatum to get to in this series. He said, I want to see him get to the rim. I want to see him get to the rim, get to the free throw line. Got to the line 8 times yesterday. Went 8 for 8. Hard work paid off for him. Do we have the clip, Victoria, of the last 7 years that Jason Tatum talked about? Let's go and play that. Jason Tatum just on the last 7 years getting to this point.
It's a real feeling. Still hasn't really kicked in yet. Just trying, I guess, enjoy the moment. I kept saying, wow. These last 7 years have been a roller coaster, up and down. I had to listen to all the shit about me, and tonight it was worth it. Oh my God.
He has heard it. He has heard it plenty. He's heard it plenty in his career. And it's difficult to try and block out all the noise. We hear athletes say it all the time. We hear coaches say it all the time. Oh, we got to block out all the noise. Can't get distracted, all the noise and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. Trust me, they hear. They hear it. They absolutely hear it. And he has heard from national media members and people just saying, hey, you know what? He's not a true number one. Can he actually get his team to the final? Well, he can't win a finals without another great player like Brown with him and all that kind of stuff, blah, 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 blah. You know what the only thing he probably caring about right now? I got this trophy right here. That's what matters most to me.
Yeah.
I worked hard for this title.
And that's the goal.
To put a ring on my finger.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That's the goal. And guess what he did, Victoria? He's got it.
Yep.
So he'd probably sit there and say, you can say whatever you want, but you still have to refer to me as champ, as NBA champion. Say what you want, because you're going to have to say NBA champ. And the whole thing about some people it's amazing how people just try and like tear it down already. Well, the Boston Celtics didn't have to play the Knicks.
Right.
Yeah, because they lost. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, it's Boston's fault that a couple guys got nicked up. Well, they didn't have to play Giannis and the Bucks. Yeah, because they lost. Not Boston's fault.
No.
Oh, you didn't have to play the Sixers. Yeah, because they lost. That's how this works. Well, they didn't have to go through a tough Western Conference. No, they just beat the team from the West that came through that tough West. Not their fault. It's not their fault what other teams look like when they play them. They just got to play them. And guess what they did? Beat them. They lost, 3 games this entire postseason, Victoria? Remember correctly? 3?
I think so, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Can't hate on that.
You can't.
You can, but you shouldn't.
Go for it. Guess what you still have to call them?
Yeah.
Champs.
They won.
You still got to call them champion. That's it. That's it. You just call them champion. Speaking of champs, Victoria, are we going to crown a new Stanley Cup champion tonight?
Ooh.
Give me an answer. Yes or no? New Stanley Cup champ tonight, Game 5 Stanley Cup Finals.
Oh, well, I'll have to wait until we do place our bets, because that's going to be in our bets. Mine are all on the ice today.
Okay, all on the ice. Okay, so we're going to put this conversation on ice. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Is that what we're going to do? I'm asking for a prediction for me, Victoria.
I got to tease.
I know what you want. I know you want this series to continue.
I do.
Edmonton Oilers trail this series 3-1. They were down 3-0. They had an emphatic Game 4 win. Now, if recent history shows us, a team that's down 3-0 can force a Game 6. We saw it happen with the Carolina Hurricanes just a month ago.
Very familiar with that.
Very familiar with it. Against a team with a great goaltender in Igor Shesterkin and the New York Rangers. Still got to a Game 6.
Also very familiar with it.
Here's how I see this goes, Victoria. This goes one of 2 ways, in my opinion. Florida either A, closes it out tonight in Game 5, which was my prediction. I predicted the Florida Panthers win this series in 5 games. Either they close it out tonight or we're getting Game 7. Because I don't see if the Edmonton Oilers win back-to-back games and then the Florida Panthers have to go on the road for Game 6 up in Edmonton, that place is going to be freaking bonkers.
Nuts.
The whole country of Canada is going to be in Edmonton for
Everyone.
that. Because, Cup's coming home.
Right. They're
That's what
already
Canada's
standing
thinking
out there.
right now.
Anybody who's watched the game, you see them standing outside wherever that's at. They're already there.
Yeah, they're just like outside the arena and all that kind of stuff. I'll
That's
actually get into that here in just a sec. I have a thought on that. But if Edmonton wins tonight, I think they win Game 6, and we're back Game 7 in Florida. I think that's what happens. So if I'm Florida, actually, if I take this back. If I'm Edmonton, I'm telling my team, hey, put it on them. The pressure's on them. Make them feel the pressure. Make them feel the pressure of closing it out. Make them realize, hey, you know what? I don't want to go back to Edmonton for a Game 6. Not in that building, not having lost 2 straight games. Put the pressure on Florida tonight if I'm Edmonton. Put it on them.
You got nothing to lose. You might as well.
Put the pressure on the Panthers to bury you. Put it on them. Because I guarantee you, you lose 2 games, you got to go on the road. It's not an easy thing to do. I mean, heck, the New York Rangers were down 3-1 to the Carolina Hurricanes going into the 3rd period.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for a couple softies, we would have had a Game 7.
Yes.
If it wasn't for a couple of softies, we would have had a Game 7. And Chris Kreider. But I digress. Again, I'll say it. If the Florida Panthers do not win tonight, we are getting a Game 7.
I'm here for it.
Getting a Game 7.
I'll take it all day.
I'm here for Game 7s, too.
All day. Yes.
Now, I still want the Florida Panthers to win this whole thing because,
That's okay.
I'm not, Canada has their Stanley Cups. They don't need to, it's coming home. Nah, it's fine. It's staying here on our soil. Which, by the way, I'm sure if you watch the games, for example, when they were in Edmonton, they would sometimes, after the Florida Panthers would score, they would cut to the arena in Sunrise where the Florida Panthers play to like the crowd gathering that's inside the arena watching the game on the Jumbotron.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, here's the fans of Florida. They're all going nuts and crazy and screaming, and we'll probably see those cutaways to Edmonton today. I love those.
Yeah.
I absolutely love those because there are so few times now in our life. I call it this time in our lives, in this era of life right now. I call it on-demand culture. It's because when it comes to television shows and movies, we can just watch it all on demand. There's no more, hey, at 8 o'clock tonight, you got to be tuned in to watch this show, whatever it might be. I'll watch it on demand.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Hey, you know what? It's I think Netflix, really fed into this because Netflix, hey, we're just going to drop the whole season right here.
Yep.
Just watch it whenever you want.
Now they've changed that since then.
They have
but
altered
I
that
do
a little
remember.
bit.
It's funny. I had that conversation recently.
But whereas, like HBO, for example, might do the whole, hey, like Game of Thrones was a big thing. The Last of Us, now House of the Dragon starting up. You got to watch it. This is the time where the episode is now available. This is where you can actually watch it when it first releases. So you have that communal experience so other people are watching at the same time. Sports is like the one thing that is constantly the communal experience that if you're not watching it now live, you're missing out.
Yeah.
You are missing out. And that's one thing I love about, for example, when the Canes are in the playoffs, they have the watch parties and the gatherings and things like that in downtown Raleigh. Everyone can come together and watch and experience it together.
It would have been fun if they would have opened up PNC Arena for away games.
I think that's something they were probably planning on doing had they reached the Cup Finals.
I would love that.
I think that would have been done.
I'm
and
always
you know what?
jelly of other people at other stadiums that do that.
There's so many things that you can do in those times. Like you can basically hey, $5 a ticket.
Yeah.
Don't charge a whole lot for parking or anything like that. Yeah. But you open up the concession stands so people can still walk around freely, get the big screen there, and you can do all the promotional stuff on the ice in between intermissions, during commercial breaks, like T-shirt tosses, and they go on the ice with the tricycles, whatever it is you want to do. You can do all that stuff during the course of the game.
Anytime there's a goal, have the horns go off,
all
the
the
smoke,
stuff.
do all the things,
have
play our music.
The whole bit.
Cue the Scorpions. I'm all for it. That's why, I don't know. Hopefully, maybe next year they'll do it.
Sports gives us that true communal experience.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes sports so special. It's so fun being part of a community.
Yeah.
A community of fandom, whether it's your favorite team, it's a hobby that you're a part of, for example, like if you're a mixed martial arts fan, you watch a lot of UFC, you're part of that community of fandom, right? For me, like I'm a big comic book fan. I'm a comic book reader. I'm part of that fandom. I also have a Harley Davidson. I ride a motorcycle. I'm part of that community as well. Your favorite school, it's Wake, it's App, it's ECU, Charlotte, Duke, State, Carolina, whatever it is, you're part of that fandom. You're part of that community. And it's always nice when when your community is able to come together and enjoy something collectively. It really is a special time. And again, something that we get so rarely nowadays. Something that is truly so rare. This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today. Victoria producing the show as always. When we come back, we're going to stretch and place bets coming up.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and we want you to swing for the fences this Major League Baseball season with FanDuel, because with Dinger Tuesdays, you can turn dingers into dollars all season long. Bet on your favorite player to rip a moonshot. FanDuel will give you $5 in bonus bets for every homer during that game. That's right, home runs just got even better. FanDuel.com, promo code AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS to get in on all the Dinger Tuesday action. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max bonus $25 per game. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Deep in the Sandhills sits a North Carolina gem, Pinehurst. Uncover the stories behind this legendary golf destination in the new PBS NC special. It's a beautiful day in Pinehurst. Step onto its hallowed grounds, where golf's greatest players have made history, and learn what sets Pinehurst apart, from its humble origins to its modern-day status as the cradle of American golf. Stream It's a Beautiful Day in Pinehurst for free now on the PBS app.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell is known for flavors that push the boundaries of taste. Our oatmeal cream pie ice cream is an oatmeal-flavored ice cream with hints of brown sugar mixed with soft oatmeal cookies and a vanilla icing swirl. We've set the bar sky high for deliciousness.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Elder Abuse Awareness Day is in June, and scams and fraud that target older adults is one of the worst forms of abuse. Learn how to identify, prevent, and report scams with the AARP Fraud Watch Minutes, available for you to view on YouTube. Search AARP North Carolina Minute and look for the AARP North Carolina Fraud Watch Minutes on YouTube. Learn more about this topic and others each week on AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts. You don't need a 4-year degree to have a rewarding career that makes a difference in people's lives every day. As a public power line worker, you'll build and maintain a locally owned and operated electric system to keep the lights on in your community. 4 months in a community college program provides the training you need to begin your career as an apprentice line worker in public power. And being a local government employee in North Carolina comes with excellent benefits. To learn more about line worker and other public power careers, visit electricities.com.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
This is is Adam Gold.
Please let the coach and GM pick this year.
Right.
And they put this on the sign outside of the restaurant, and I guess David Tepper actually went inside this restaurant.
Do you know that there is security video of that visit?
Wow.
The Adam Gold Show.
I bet Eric Tulsky's feeling like a rock star right now. Officially the new general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes, being promoted from assistant GM, who's interim general manager for the last 4 weeks or so. Took the interim tag off, but he's feeling like a rock star. But I'm sure right now, with everything going on, he probably needs to stretch, and that's what we're going to do, Victoria.
Okay, so kicking things off, today, 24 years ago, back in 2000, Tiger Woods won the U.S. Open for the first time by a record 15 strokes. He then won it. Yeah, he won it again later, 2 years after that in 2002 and then 2008. So that was a chunk of time where it was all Tiger all the time. So that was the good old days.
Gosh.
I know.
We talked about it a bit on Friday last week, just like the nostalgia of Tiger Woods. And just it kind of reminds you, because when we see him out there, it's like we see our hero grow old.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of what it is, because then it reminds us like, I grew old too.
Unfortunately.
There's a little bit of that. I truly think so.
Yeah, I know. Well, now we've got Scotty Scheffler to be the new Tiger Woods.
Do we, though?
We'll see.
Do we?
See. Apparently so, but we'll see. Also, something we'll see if it ever happens. The Surgeon General wants to put cigarette-like warning labels on social media.
Wait, what?
So, yeah, the Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy, I guess, wants to put a warning label on social media because of basically mental health. They said, quote,
"That's fair.
It is time to require a warning label on social media platforms stating that social media is associated with significant mental health and harms our adolescents." However, that's not going to happen. Basically, Congress would have to approve all of this stuff, and it's just, this article puts it in a nutshell that that's not going to happen. But they are pushing for it, and they do want just people to realize that they did some tests. I guess they were pointing out that 95% of teens between the ages of 13 and 17 all have some social media platform. So, yeah. And then a third of them say that they use it almost constantly, which the other 2/3 are lying. So
yeah,
so it's like,
exactly. The other
okay,
2/3
only a third of you. Okay, whatever. Yeah,
you
people are getting hit by buses because you're not looking up. So let's not.
Let's
not. Yeah.
So I'm also wondering, like is YouTube, I think, is considered a social media platform because you can interact and comment and video, and YouTube is considered, I think, again, a social media platform.
Back in the day, I just used it for music videos because I wanted to hear different new music, but now it's totally different now.
But it's evolved and it has grown. So YouTube is no different than any other social media. Now, it's different, I guess you could say, but it is a form of social media. Some people have Discord is a form of social media, which is very heavily in the gaming industry.
It is.
As is Twitch. Is Twitch considered social media too? Because you kind of have you can broadcast live like you can on YouTube, and it's mostly, again, a gaming related thing. But
I would
is that
say
considered? Yeah. So anyway, it's just
So the Surgeon General just wants people to be cognizant, I guess. Which I think we all are.
It won't happen.
Or consumed.
But I truly do appreciate the effort and thought.
Yeah.
I really do.
So, and I do appreciate this next article I read because it said it's encouraging coffee drinkers. Now, I'm one of those. I like the caffeine of coffee, so that's why I drink it. But I also have to add all the extra. I can't do it just straight up black, dark, nothing in it. I can't do it. I've got to zhuzh it up a little bit. But they're saying if you're a coffee drinker and you have to sit still for 6+ hours a day, which some people have to with their job, they can't move around, then it's actually beneficial to drink more coffee because you can live longer versus not.
What?
So this study found they tracked people over 13 years. So it's a legit study, I guess. I mean, it's over a decade. So for 13 years, they tracked people, and they found that the ones who sat around and drank coffee were 24% less likely to die young compared to their sedentary peers who did not drink coffee. So, yes. And they were looking at like 6 hours plus, for people who are sitting around. So it's not just VR. But yeah, I found this fascinating. And, of course, they say ideally they don't want you sitting around that long. Of course, they always say walk around, move, do things. But you might be able to counteract some of the negative effects of having to sit and not move if you drink a couple cups of coffee. I had no idea.
Okay, well, here's the thing. I don't drink coffee.
Yeah.
I don't. And caffeine never really has had an effect on me.
No?
No, it never really has. So I don't consume any caffeine in the mornings.
Yeah.
I really don't. The only caffeine I'll consume is generally hot green tea because when we're talking so much, it's soothing and it's good to have. It just kind of helps the vocal cords and all that stay fresh. I don't consume any caffeine.
Yeah.
Other than hot green tea, which does not have near the amount of caffeine as even black tea does, let alone coffee. Mm-hmm. So it's like seriously one of the lower amounts of caffeine that you can possibly have. And caffeine doesn't do anything for me. I don't even drink caffeine soda that has caffeine in it.
Yeah.
I don't. I just don't. People are like, how do you do all the stuff you do? I'm like, I just do it. I just get up and I go.
Yeah. I used to never drink caffeine, but when you work morning hours, sometimes you need it. But they say the sweet spot is about 2 cups. So anyone who was wondering, don't have
cups,
like 10 pots.
2 cups morning, 2 cups afternoon.
Exactly.
Am I right?
Yeah.
There's people out there be like,
why can I not sleep anymore?
I'm allowed to have more coffee.
All of it in my veins. But no, what I do want in my veins is wins.
Place your bets. Do you? I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
All right, Victoria, start us off here.
Okay, so it's kind of difficult to pick who might be an anytime goal scorer for the Edmonton Oilers because they kind of go all over the board, and who knows what's actually going to get in the net when Bob's there, other than the outlier game last time. So I think Leon Draisaitl, I think he's going to come through tonight because it's a do-or-die game. Give me him anytime goal scorer. He's plus 185.
Okay, plus 185 for Leon Draisaitl, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha. All right, I'm going to go back to Major League Baseball here real quick. I missed on this one yesterday. Dodgers at the Rockies. Ohtani had a really good game yesterday. He had a couple hits, but he did not hit a home run yesterday. I'm going back to it. Plus 230. Shohei Ohtani hits a dinger.
You're feeling it.
I absolutely am.
Okay, well, it could happen. You never know. Now, just like this could happen, you never know. If the Edmonton Oilers win, I'm going to say the Conn Smythe Trophy winner. Why not let's go with Connor McDavid?
McDavid?
Because he's plus 700, which I think is kind of crazy. But we'll see. That's if they win the series. I know that's a future, but I'll go with him. He's plus 700.
Okay.
Whew.
All right, plus 700.
I know. That'd be a good payout.
By the way, go ahead and give me the Edmonton Oilers on the money line, plus 124 tonight. Plus 124 on the money line.
Yes. Well, and see, that's who I was going to go with, but I'll also do over-unders. So
okay,
give
hit me
the Oilers, and it's set at 5.5. So, you know what? I'll take the over. So, Oilers in the over is plus 310.
Okay, give me Sergei Bobrovsky over 25.5 saves and Stuart Skinner at over 26.5 saves. Give me that combination there tonight. Coming up, Wall of Sound, all NBA Finals related.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
On average, people spend over a third of their life sleeping, yet most sleep disorders go undiagnosed.
I'm Megan Gigling, General Manager of Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sleep struggles left untreated can lead to health problems and have a serious effect on your quality of life. We've served the Triangle for 20 years. Let us help you get the sleep you've been dreaming of.
If you're in need of a sleep study, a knowledgeable doctor, CPAP machine, or supplies, Parkway has you covered. For more information or to schedule an appointment, visit parkwaysleep.com. Sound sleep, sound health.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Houston, permission to detach boosters.
Negative, Commander. You're off course for the moon. Sensors show something massive on board. Did you bring additional items?
Only the new loaded scratch-offs.
Those are loaded with $50, $100, $500, and $2,000 prizes. You're on a trajectory towards Mars.
Nice. First person on Mars. Take that, billionaires.
New loaded scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Massive amounts of prizes. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.8 to 4.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Adam Gold here from my friends at CertaPro Painters, the painting professionals. And let me tell you, that's something that I don't want to do in my own house. My wife likes it. I don't. These people love it. They are the professionals. You can also trust them to get the job done right and safely and quickly. And each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated, which means they live in our community. And you can schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
If you see me stopped in the McDonald's drive-thru, just staring at the menu with my "what should I order" face, don't interrupt. It's the most important decision I'll make all day.
Enjoy savings every day when you get a McDouble, McChicken, and other faves. Buy one, get one for $1. Plus, get any size Dr. Pepper for just $1.29. Price and participation may vary. Valid for product of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Diamonds Direct has done it again. This month only, get ready for an offer you can't resist. Buy a natural diamond engagement ring of 1 carat plus and receive a free natural 1 carat diamond tennis bracelet valued at $2,000. That's right, a stunning diamond tennis bracelet at no extra cost. Imagine giving her the ring of her dreams and her wedding gift all at once. So hurry into Diamonds Direct. Your chance to get a free tennis bracelet will not last long. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
Courage. I learned it from my adoptive mom. Hold my hand.
You hold my hand. Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
This hour of buzzer-beating, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sports action on 99.9 The Fan is powered by
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
A swing and a pop-up. This is going to do it. Shallow left. Mark Payton jogging in, and the Charlotte Knights set International League history. 7 pitchers combined to no-hit the Durham Bulls. Garrett Schonley in his AAA debut highlights it with the first 3 innings. Fraser Ellard with an inning. Jordan Leisure with 2/3. Joe Barlow with 2/3. Sammy Peralta got 4 outs. David Garcia 4 outs. And Addison Coffey the final 3 as the Knights blanked the Bulls on a no-hitter 2-0.
I love minor league baseball. And one of the things I love about minor league baseball in the state of North Carolina is how it's woven into the fabric of so many communities. By the way, the voice you just heard there, that's Patrick Keenis, the play-by-play voice of the Durham Bulls. That's one of the things I love and appreciate about this state. Whether you go from the Winston-Salem Dash, the Greensboro Grasshoppers, Charlotte Knights, Carolina Mudcats, you name it, Coastal Plain League throughout the state as well. So much great minor league and collegiate baseball here in the state of North Carolina. Speaking of which, by the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today. Victoria Vodenecker producing the show as always. Speaking of baseball here in the state of North Carolina, UNC about to face Florida State in an elimination game of the College World Series. We'll definitely keep you up to date as that goes on. But until then, Victoria, at 2 o'clock every single day, it's time for the Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
And we're going to keep this one NBA Finals Game 5. Boston Celtics winning 106-88 and winning the NBA Finals. 18th time in their franchise's history. A record. 18th. Their first one coming back all the way in 1957. Impressive. By the way, they won a chunk of these in like the 60s. I think because they won like 7 out of 8 years. Now, granted, also during that time, there was 10 NBA teams or whatever it was. So, level of competition was a lot different. But nonetheless, you win a championship. Championships are championships.
Yeah.
Call them what they are. It's not their fault there's so few teams. Can't blame them. But things are obviously a little bit different today. Jason Tatum on the process the last 7 years to win this whole thing.
It's a real feeling. Still hasn't really kicked in yet. Just trying, I guess, enjoy the moment. I kept saying, wow. These last 7 years have been a roller coaster, up and down. I had to listen to all the shit about me. And tonight, it was worth it. Oh, my God.
100% worth it. You know why? Because all the people that said stuff about him, hey, he's not good enough. He's not a top-tier guy in the NBA. Or he can't be a number one guy and win a title, blah, 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 blah. Guess what you have to say now? One word, Victoria, you got to associate with Jason Tatum. Champion.
Yeah.
He's champion.
They're the champ.
Champ. Hey, NBA champion, Jason Tatum. Simple as that. The guy won a title. You can knock on it, crap on it all you want. You still got to say champ. That's what matters most. By the way, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, quite the duo that the Boston Celtics have had over the last several years. And Jason Tatum talked about Jaylen Brown, who won Finals MVP.
Well deserved. Extremely happy for him. This is a hell of an accomplishment. The main goal for us was to win a championship. We didn't care who got Finals MVP. I know that I need him through this journey, and he needs me. It was great to see him have that moment and share that moment with him. I'm extremely happy for him. Well deserved. That was big time. He earned that.
Extremely well deserved, and like Tatum just said there, he earned that, and it was the defensive side of the ball that really stood out to me about Jaylen Brown in this series. Now, the growth of Tatum and the growth of Brown has been together. Now, they each individually had to grow themselves, and that's on them both mentally and physically putting the work in to grow as players, to mature. Jaylen Brown reflected on that growth between he and Tatum.
We've been through a lot. We've been playing together for 7 years now. We've been through a lot. The losses, the expectations, the media, have said all different types of things. We can't play together. We were never going to win. We heard it all. But we just blocked it out, and we just kept going. I trusted him. He trusted me, and we did it together. So, to get to this point, and share that experience with JT is just awesome. I can't, it's just amazing, and it feels great.
Can we call him ACC legend? He went to Cal. Jaylen Brown. He went to Cal. Can we call him ACC legend? Why not?
Throw it out there.
Why not? Players hear the stuff that's said. They just do. It's natural. You hear the stuff that's said about you. Again, they've played 7 years together. 2016 third overall pick was Jaylen Brown. 2017 third overall pick, Jason Tatum. So they've been playing together for the last 7 years. Kind of goes to show you as well as that you could draft 2 stud players on your team. Literally the 3rd overall pick in back-to-back years for the Boston Celtics. And it took 7 years together to finally reach this point. 7 years together. It's been a long process. It was Brad Stevens was there as head coach. And then he goes in the front office and there's Ime Udoka. Then Ime Udoka decides to, do some stuff that's very inappropriate. And then it's Joe Mazzulla taking over as head coach. By the way, Jaylen Brown did talk about it's kind of nice silencing those doubters.
If you would have asked me that maybe a year ago, I probably would say yeah. But just at the point that I got to right now, like, yeah, it feels great. But, any of the personal awards, it is what it is, the doubters, they may be quieted now, but they'll be back. They'll probably be back next year with something else to say. So we just all embrace that moment the same and get after it yet again.
The doubters are always going to be there because you know why? People are jealous that you accomplished something that they were incapable of doing. Like, hey, I saw you reach the top of your profession. I might not be able to reach the top of mine. Therefore, I'm going to try and tear yours down. People are going to doubt. Be like, well, it was a fluke season. You didn't have to play the Knicks because the Knicks were banged up. Giannis was hurt, and you didn't have to play the Bucks. And blah 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 blah. Like it's Boston's fault. They played the team in front of them, and they beat them every single time. That's how it works. But like I talked about that process, it's been years in the making for this team. Joe Mazzulla, the head coach, by the way, who's 35 years old, which made me feel old. I'm about to turn 38 on Saturday. I'm like, wait a second. That's not supposed to be that way.
Whole NBA team.
Here's Joe Mazzulla on the title being years in the making.
It feels good. I think the most important thing, something that's really been going through my mind throughout this process is you can't lose sight of the people that came before us. And I want to make sure every person that's worked for the Celtics, that's played for the Celtics, that didn't win, knows that their work and what they've done hasn't gone unnoticed or it doesn't play a part in where we're at today. It can be so easy when you work for this organization and you don't win that the work that people put in just gets brushed over or gets ignored. And when I first got here, the staff, Brad's coaching, the staff that they had, the foundation that they built with these guys when they were young, the foundation of what we have is one of the reasons why we're here today. And so I think that's one of the first things that came to mind was just because we won this doesn't mean what the people have done before us isn't just as important.
There's always steps to get to the ultimate goal, right? There are always steps that lead to it. And by the way, Joe Mazzulla turns 36 at the end of this month. So on June 30th is his 36th birthday. So his birthday is like 8 days after mine. I just happen to be 2 years older than him. I remember my first head coaching job. I coached college lacrosse. I was 25 years old when I got my first head coaching job. Never would have dreamt at the age of 35 going on 36 being in like an NBA champion head coach. But he's right. There are people that came before that laid the foundation to get to where they are now. The Celtics just didn't get good overnight. It just didn't happen. Like, all of a sudden they have a really great team, and all of a sudden they're playing in the NBA Finals just out of nowhere. No, this was several years in the making. And Victoria, I don't know about you, but when you put a lot of time and effort and work into something, you finally see it pay off.
Oh, yeah.
It's so satisfying.
It's very rewarding.
And you know what? We can all relate to that in some way, shape, or form in our own personal lives. Like, for example, in your work, in your field of work, whatever it is that you do, you may have worked hard to climb the ladder to a certain position, or maybe you have your own business that was able to take off to to a whole different level. Whatever it is, when you put the work into something, you actually see the tangible outcome of like, wow, there's the accomplishment, the thing I'm working on, and we got it done together. And it was a long time process to get to that point. And when you finally got it, it's pretty rewarding. It's extremely satisfying for sure. This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. That was The Wall of Sound. Victoria producing the show as always. If you have not heard yet today, or maybe you're just catching up for the first time, Eric Tulsky is officially the general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes. It was announced earlier this morning. Eric Tulsky, again, interim general manager. I'll tell you what I like about the move coming up in 4 minutes.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Bryce Young is a lot of things, but the one thing you need to make sure you do going into year 2 for the Panthers is don't make Bryce Young try to be anyone but Bryce Young. Jadeveon Clowney told the media that Bryce is quiet. Deontay Johnson told him that he's loud and he talks a lot. Which one is it? It doesn't matter. Just make sure his leadership style is his.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, Tim Donnelly here for DraftKings. We are this close to crowning an NBA champ, and with the action heating up on the court, it's even hotter at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. It's super easy to get started with DraftKings if you're a first-timer. Try betting on something like a team to win. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. It's that simple. And if you're new to DraftKings, you got to check this out. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball term.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing, made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories, all without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver, all the taste, no bitter endings. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew, 30 seconds, that's it. Done. Peace.
It's bow time. Listen up, because we've got some big news to share. You might want to sit down for this. Bow Sauce is back at Bojangles. If you think you missed it, just imagine how our Supremes must have felt. Because there's no better sauce to pair with our crispy golden chicken Supremes. They're already boldly seasoned to perfection, but add Bow Sauce and you can taste a truly legendary combination that will make you want to yell, "It's bow time." So don't wait. Grab a Supreme and dip into some Bow Sauce. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing to satisfy your craving for flavor with a Bojangles Chicken Supremes dinner. Choose a 3-piece or 4-piece Supremes dinner. Get your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea. And don't forget the sauce for dipping, because Bow Sauce is back. That's right, Bow Sauce is back. Hungry for flavor and value and love the Bow Sauce? Then it's bow time.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $10 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
The light is fading, your hands are sore, and the last tool's been put away. Now is the time to feel the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. But when you get your tools from Harbor Freight, something about the job feels a little different. Your wallet. Because we believe that everyone deserves hardworking tools at hardworking prices. And that's what we have here. So, whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight.
This is Adam Gold.
He said he could talk about his golf game.
He did say it wasn't great, and I said, hey, no judgment here. I'm a drive shacker and a putt-putter myself.
None of us are good. Even those of us that are good aren't really good.
Right, yeah.
We're just not.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
Victoria, I've not heard this song in a minute.
You're welcome.
Gosh.
Oh, man, those old school bangers. Oh, it's great.
Wow.
I know. That's what I like to do. I like to play the old
Just
hits.
little needle drops there every once in a while.
I know, because it's also fun. Like, people will hit me up on Twitter and be like, oh, my gosh, I completely forgot about that song. Oh, my gosh, you just played fill in the blank. Yes, I am that music
I've
nerd.
had a few of those, and it's fun. It really is a lot of fun. This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for AG today. Victoria producing the show. As always, real quick before we get into the Carolina Hurricanes, UNC baseball in the bottom of the first inning against Florida State. Nothing to score right now between the Tar Heels and the Noles. Elimination game out there in Omaha. Earlier this morning, I should say. My apologies. Carolina Hurricanes officially announced Eric Tulsky to be their general manager, who's, again, been acting as the interim GM for the past 4 weeks or so since Don Waddell, the former team president and general manager, departed for the Columbus Blue Jackets to be their team president and GM. I like promoting from within.
Me too.
This is the reason why I like this move. I like promoting from within, generally in really in any business, in any sort of way. We've seen a lot of teams, for example, like a lot of people use the Pittsburgh Steelers as a model of consistency. What does Mike Tomlin often do with his staff? He promotes coordinators from within, from like position coaches. All right, generally promoting from within. That's what they do. And you have a level of consistency. The Carolina Hurricanes for the last 6 years not only have made the playoffs, they're the only franchise in the entire league to have won in the postseason for the last 6 years, to have won at least one series. The Canes are the only ones that have done it. The process has been good to them so far, so promote from within someone who has been part of that process. Eric Tulsky has been part of that process. He's been officially an assistant general manager since 2020, but he's been part of the pro scouting department for several years before that, been involved with the analytics, but since becoming an assistant general manager in 2020, he has had a say in every single personnel decision that the Carolina Hurricanes have made, because the Carolina Hurricanes make their decisions as a group. It's not just one guy, GM, only person making the decision. It's a collective group decision. On free agents, trades, draft, you name it, collective group decision. So Eric Tulsky now is the face of that group, being titled general manager. You're the face of it now. Again, it's still a collective decision. The process for the Carolina Hurricanes does not change. They've been doing their normal process this offseason already when it comes to their own free agents. We've already seen them re-sign defenseman Jalen Chatfield, who was about to hit free agency. They re-signed him back on Friday, it was announced. 3-year contract, $3 million per year. So we've already seen them. They're already doing business as usual. Now we just have the official title of general manager. Now that that's done and out of the way. Question is, what are you surrounding Eric Tulsky with? Because once again, part of that collective, that group mind of Don Waddell is no longer there. Who do you replace him with, or how do you replace him? Do you hire another assistant GM? Do you promote from within to fill that assistant GM spot now that's left void by Eric Tulsky sliding into Don Waddell's chair as the GM? Is it a consultant that you bring in that Tulsky can reach out to when making decisions about players? Hey, thinking about this player, the numbers show that he can really play on our team. We feel like he could potentially be a good fit. What do you think about this guy? maybe that guy's in-house already with Justin Williams if he's willing to take on that role. Not entirely sure. We haven't heard that announcement yet. So the question is, how are you surrounding Eric Tulsky? Obviously, the owner, Tom Dundon, is going to be part of that as well. Assistant General Manager Darren York, who's been part of the decision-making hive mind already, he's still in place. Okay, who is part of that group now? Or do you not add to the group? That's a question going forward. Again, we saw the Carolina Hurricanes re-sign Jalen Chatfield last week. By the way, big thanks to Jalen Chatfield, who joined us, who joined this show on Friday last week. We had a great opportunity to talk with him last week after he signed. So again, we already know that they're negotiating with their pending free agents. Now the time to really put the other work in. Other teams know who your GM is now officially. Other teams now know that. Now your players officially know that because they've mostly worked directly as the first point of contact, probably with Don Waddell. At least their agent was the first point of contact. And I think that's actually the important thing here of all this is that other teams know who that first point of contact is. It's Tulsky. In the past, it was Waddell. Players now know it. Players' agents know it. Other teams' front office members and general managers know that as well. Eric Tulsky's the first point of contact. That's the person I got to talk to first. So now let's see the hive mind. Let's see you get that long-term extension done with Seth Jarvis. Seth Jarvis is a young, up-and-coming star and can be, and already basically is, one of the faces of your franchise already, especially with the fan base, Victoria.
Oh, yeah.
People love Seth Jarvis. You're a big Jarvis guy.
Yes, people aka me. And he's my favorite number. That's where it all
24?
started.
Okay,
But Jarvie,
see?
He's spunky, he's small. I totally relate. Like, he's got a great personality. He's silly. It's amazing.
There are a lot of things about Jarvis that are intangible that are important to a franchise as well,
And he's
other
skilled.
than what he does.
I mean, like, the important part is he's very skilled.
The numbers back it up.
Yes.
The numbers back it up.
Mm-hmm.
Not only with the offensive production of 33 goals, 67 points, he also finished 8th in Selke voting, which goes to the best defensive forward in the entire NHL. He finished 8th of everyone in the league, and he also happened to score over 30 goals for you and put up nearly 70 points.
Yeah.
And he can also kill plenty. He does all those things all on the ice. But like you said, Victoria, he has a personality that fans gravitate towards.
And
right?
he's also only 22 years old. So he's still
Not
super
even, right?
young.
He's 21, I think.
No,
or maybe
he turns 23 in February.
That's right. He just turned 22 this season.
Yep.
So getting a long-term deal done with him is vital because you're basically going to take him up till age 29.
Yeah.
Like the true prime of his career. If you sign him to an 8-year extension this offseason, you got him and Sebastian Aho locked up for the prime. For their prime. And Seth Jarvis is only going to continue to get better.
Yeah, especially if he stays healthy.
Well, yeah, I mean, gosh, he played this whole season with a torn rotator cuff and torn labrum in his shoulder. That happened 15 games into the year, and he played through it and still put up all that. Heck, even if Seth Jarvis is just the same for the next 8 years, you'll take that because he was amazing.
Even broken Jarvis is still great.
So that's got to be a major priority for you now. Also, Jordan Martinook must bring that guy back. Have to bring that guy back. Talk about the intangibles. Someone that's beloved by the fan base.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it has to go beyond that. He's respected in the locker room, and he still gets the job done on the ice. He understands his role. That guy works his tail off. He's not afraid to sacrifice his body to block shots or take a hit to make a play or deliver a hit to make a play. He gets to the front of the net. He does all the small things that your team needs. Yeah, he's not like a 30-goal guy. That's okay. They all can't be. You still need the guys that are going to grind and do the work and are going to lead not only vocally, but also lead by example with their work ethic too. And he's everything that you need. And he truly is, well, like we hear Rob Brindamore and other people talking about this kind of guy's the embodiment of a Carolina Hurricane. Jordan Martinook is the embodiment of a Carolina Hurricane. We hear about Kane's culture all the time. He's as much responsible for that as anyone else is, because he's been here the last 6 years under Rod Brindamore, with Jordan Stahl, with Jacob Slavin, with Brett Pesce, with Sebastian Aho, with Andrei Svechnikov. He's been here for all of it too. He's just as much a core guy as anyone else is. And also, on July 1st, I would love to see the official announcement of a Jacob Slavin contract extension. Jacob Slavin is going into the final year of his contract. He is one of the best defensemen in the entire league. That's not just me spewing fandom. That is just an objective fact that people across the league will tell you, yeah, that's one of the best defensemen in the entire NHL.
Yeah, exactly.
You keep that guy.
He's a double lady binger.
He is. He's a double lady binger.
Mm-hmm.
You keep that guy on your team because his game will age well. Because they'll be like, oh, he's 29 years old. His game will age well because he's a great skater. He doesn't rely on physicality. He uses positioning properly, and he has great stick work, and he uses his stick as good as anybody in the NHL defensively.
Yeah.
So his game is going to age well. And second of all, you just don't let the best guy in the league that's already on your team, you just don't let him walk.
No.
You just don't let him walk. Like, you want to keep the Carolina Hurricanes are known for their awesome defensive core. And who's the best of that defensive core? It's Slavin.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy. Keep that guy long-term as well. Also, by the 28th, which is when the NHL draft starts on Friday next week. By the 28th, can we have this Martin Necas trade figured out?
That would be
Can
great.
we have that figured out? That'd be great.
You know what this Eric Tulsky hire says to me, too?
What's that?
You can literally do anything in the world that you want to, basically, because this guy, we have not talked about it yet.
Yeah.
He's a scientist, okay? This guy went
Like
to
legit.
Harvard. Yes, he went to Harvard for chemistry, then Berkeley for his PhD in chemistry, and now he's working in hockey. So just let that sit with you in case you're like, I want to do something crazy.
He's smart, known for numbers
Very
and
smart.
analytics and all those kinds of things, but yeah, you never know.
You can do whatever you want in this world. Eric Tulsky is telling you
Look
this.
at Eric Tulsky. Love it.
Yes.
This is the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold. By the way, real quick, College World Series update. Top of the second inning. Florida State takes a 1-0 lead here in the top of the second. So there's your update right now. Top of the second, Florida State up. Still runners on first and second, 2 outs, but they just pushed one across the plate. So 1-0 the score. Seminoles up over the Tar Heels. Again, early. It's top of the second. It's early. Carolina is the home team in this matchup, by the way. Just want to make sure everyone knows. Top of the second, Florida State, 1-0 lead. Victoria, I'm sure you're excited. The NFL announced training camp schedules, or at least dates when teams report, players report. Here's something that I hope that the Carolina Panthers are keeping an eye on this offseason that's going to affect them next offseason. I'll tell you what that is in 4 minutes.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Trust ACT Construction Equipment and Avant Articulated Loaders for the right equipment to help get your work done. Avant makes the most multifunctional loaders in the world. Whether you're a landscaping pro or homeowner serious about property maintenance, you need an Avant loader. ACT Construction Equipment is your authorized Avant dealer for sales, service, part, and rentals. Visit one of our 7 locations or actce.com for more details about Avant Articulated Loaders. ACT Construction Equipment, always the right equipment for the job.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And even as the playoffs wind down in basketball and hockey, there's still stuff worth wagering on if you are so inclined. And FanDuel wants to give you incentive to just keep a little skin in the game. Open up the app and enjoy all summer long. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There is something for everyone every day all summer long. Go to FanDuel.com FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS, and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Must be 21 or older and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Wager requirements apply. Bonuses awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bets or profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including bonus expiration. See terms and conditions at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell has a great sense of timing, like bringing out Southern Blackberry Cobbler ice cream in time for summer. Rich ice cream with luscious blackberry flavor combined with flaky pie crust pieces and a blackberry swirl. The perfect summertime treat.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today. Elder Abuse Awareness Day is in June, and scams and fraud that target older adults is one of the worst forms of abuse. Learn how to identify, prevent, and report scams with the AARP Fraud Watch Minutes, available for you to view on YouTube. Search AARP North Carolina Minute and look for the AARP North Carolina Fraud Watch Minutes on YouTube. Learn more about this topic and others each week on AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts. You don't need a 4-year degree to have a rewarding career that makes a difference in people's lives every day. As a public power line worker, you'll build and maintain a locally owned and operated electric system to keep the lights on in your community. 4 months in a community college program provides the training you need to begin your career as an apprentice line worker in public power. And being a local government employee in North Carolina comes with excellent benefits. To learn more about line worker and other public power careers, visit electricities.com.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
This is Adam Gold.
Victoria, you played sports in high school, right?
Oh, yeah. Basketball, and I swam.
Could you imagine competing for $1 million?
No.
$1 million.
No. I competed for plastic trophies.
I was also a high school athlete, baseball player. No, and I could never even imagine it.
No.
The Adam Gold Show.
So it was announced today by the NFL when training camps are going to get underway, Victoria. 1 month from tomorrow, July 19th, is when the rookies for the Carolina Panthers will report to training camp. 1 month from tomorrow. That's it.
It went by fast.
1 month from tomorrow, the rookies report.
Yep. They had a 2-week break. Now we're back at it.
And then 1 month from this Sunday, the 23rd, 1 month from this Sunday, on July 23rd, is when the rest of the team reports for training camp for the Carolina Panthers. Crazy to think about. We're a month away from training camp.
That is crazy.
By the way, that week is going to be crazy. By the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold today, Victoria Vodenecker producing the show today. That week is going to be kind of nuts in the world of football, because that week of July, the week of the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, in July is when ACC media days are taking place. So this is when we're going to get a chance to talk to, for the first time ever, we'll get a chance to talk to, Cal and Stanford and SMU players, and Jim Phillips does his address of the ACC. We get a chance to talk to coaches from across the league and players from across the league, all that kind of stuff. It's a chance for us to really do that before the season gets started. And it really is a lot of fun because oftentimes it's our only opportunity to sometimes talk to some of these individuals.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited for it too. And then training camp's going to be happening because that, by the way, that takes place in Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
And then literally right down the road, training camps can be taking place for the Carolina Panthers because they're not going down to Spartanburg, South Carolina anymore at Wofford. They're just keeping it right in Charlotte now. It's going to be a busy week for us.
Yeah.
But something that we've seen this offseason regarding the NFL is something that's going to potentially impact the Carolina Panthers next offseason. I love one of my favorite offseason moves by Dan Morgan, the general manager for the Carolina Panthers, was the trade that he made with the Pittsburgh Steelers to bring Deontay Johnson, the wide receiver, from Pittsburgh to Carolina. For those who, just to kind of recap the trade from several months ago, the Panthers sent Dante Jackson, a corner, defensive back, who they were planning on releasing this offseason. They traded him and a 6th-round pick for Deontay Johnson and a 7th-round pick. Because Pittsburgh's like, hey, you know what? We need a corner. We kind of want to shake things up, and we want to move on from Deontay Johnson. So that's kind of what spurred this move. And I was like, a 10 out of 10 A-plus move by Dan Morgan. 10 out of 10 A-plus move by Dan Morgan. Now, we've seen Deontay Johnson put up some pretty strong numbers in his career. Now, has it been the same without Ben Roethlisberger? Not necessarily. The last couple years with Kenny Pickett and a rotating, Mitch Trubisky and several others at quarterback for Deontay Johnson has led to a dip in production. Hopefully with Bryce Young, that you see the elevation in production once again because Bryce Young will be better. The system's going to be better. Everything around these guys is going to be better. And we've seen that. I loved this move. Now, the way the wide receiver market has gone in the NFL, it is crazy, Victoria, the amount of money that wide receivers are getting nowadays. Crazy the amount of money.
Big money.
Big time money. For example, we just saw Justin Jefferson get a 4-year, $140 million contract. That's $35 million a year.
That's a lot.
$35 million a year. Now, reportedly, guaranteed in that, if I remember correctly, was about like $100 million.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. I'm sorry, 110. It was $110 million guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk Cousins signed a 4-year contract with the Atlanta Falcons. 4 years, $180 million. So more average annual per year, but only 100 of it was guaranteed. Justin Jefferson, over the next 4 years, has more guaranteed money in his contract than Kirk Cousins, who's a starting QB in the NFL.
Yeah, you look at Brock Purdy. It's another one who's not making anything
Well,
close.
I mean, that's because he's stuck on a rookie contract.
Right, yeah.
After this season, that's all going to change.
Yeah, well, it definitely should for him.
But nonetheless, when you look at the wide receiver market and the amount of money that these guys are getting paid, if the Deontay Johnson, Bryce Young duo is what we hope that they are going to be, the Carolina Panthers are going to be in a situation of, we're going to probably have to look to pay Deontay Johnson. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to get $35 million a year, but we've seen some, quote, lack of a better term, wide receivers like Nico Collins in Houston with C.J. Stroud. He's making, like 27 or so million. He just signed a contract extension, making about $27 million a year. Can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but you might be in that ballpark. And you're going to be faced in a situation as general manager Dan Morgan of like, all right, if we pay Deontay Johnson top-end money, well, that means we got to take away from somewhere else. That means we can't pay somewhere else. Does that prevent us from signing another defensive back or a corner, or whatever it is that we need, someone that we want to keep because of that? I mean, if things work out the way that you want them to for Deontay Johnson and Bryce Young, You hope that you're in that situation where you have to pay Deontay Johnson, because that means those two have an awesome connection together. It means Deontay Johnson's putting up great stats. He's helping your offense as a whole, because if he's a number one threat, it helps out Xavier Legette. It helps out Adam Thielen in the passing game, helps Jatavian Sanders and Tommy Tremble as well, because you have that true number one threat that the Panthers really didn't have last year. I know Adam Thielen was the guy as your number one technically last year, but he wasn't as dynamic, or he's not as dynamic now as Deontay Johnson is. Deontay Johnson can come in and be your number one wide receiver and really help change things in this offense for Bryce Young. Now, again, to be determined what this offense is going to look like fully under Dave Canales. It's his first time as a head coach. Clearly, there's been an emphasis and discussion about running the ball this offseason. The drafting that we've seen with Jonathan Brooks in the second round and Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt, the offensive linemen that were signed this offseason, all point to, hey, we want to be run-first, play-action type team. But having that number one receiver for Bryce Young is going to be vital. It's hard to ask Xavier Legette as a rookie to be that right away. Deontay Johnson's been in the league already. He's been in the league for 5 years, and he's been super productive. He has three seasons of 85 or 86 plus catches, including back in 2021. He had 107 catches for over 1,100 yards, and he had 8 touchdowns. If he has that again with Bryce Young, I love it. It's awesome. I want to see that. I think he can do that. Now, some of that is also on Bryce Young, too. 100%. But that's the duo that you want to be, right? We talk about the really good wide receiver quarterback combinations in the NFL. Like, for example, we saw it with C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins. I know Stephon Diggs is now in Houston, but with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, we saw for a long time it was Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. Now it's Tyreek Hill down with Tua Tagovailoa in Miami. We see that 1-2. Brock Purdy with Deebo Samuel. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. If Carolina Panthers, if they have that top-end duo of QB and wide receiver, then you're going to have to pay Deontay Johnson a big chunk of money for the next 4 years or 3 years to keep that combination together. That's what you're hoping, especially when you know that Adam Thielen only has 1 year left on his contract, that Xavier Legette is wrapped up in a rookie deal, as is Jonathan Mingo. Like, now is the time, if Deontay Johnson is what we hope was brought in to be the number one guy, that he can be it for the next 3-4 years after this year, while Bryce Young is still on his rookie deal. Because then when Bryce Young is due for a contract extension, if he plays to that level where you deem him worthy to be your franchise QB, well, then you have some decisions to make. Okay, do you let Deontay Johnson go if you feel Xavier Legette's the guy? Because we're seeing in the NFL, it's hard to give big-time money to 2 wideouts. It's hard to give big-time money to 2 wide receivers because so much, along with your quarterback, if your quarterback's getting paid, because you're putting so much money into that. It's one of the reasons why the Carolina Panthers were able to sign Robert Hunt, Victoria, from Miami.
Yeah.
Because they had to pay Jalen Waddle, and Tua's due for a contract extension. Well, guess what? Sacrifices got to be made. You have to go cheap somewhere. That allowed a guy like Robert Hunt to be available.
Yeah.
That's the thing that happens. I hope that the Carolina Panthers are in a situation a year from now, where they're having to sign, or gosh, not even a year from now, February, where they're looking at the situation of Deontay Johnson and going, we have to pay this guy because he's too vital to our offense, and he and Bryce Young are too damn good together to break this thing up. That's what I want. I hope. And honestly, it can happen. It can happen. Again, I'll say it again. I love the Deontay Johnson trade. Love it. A+ across the board for Dan Morgan on that one. Across the board. Nothing but high marks. Nothing but high marks. You were able to turn a defensive back that you were going to move off from this offseason into potentially your number one wide receiver for the guy that was drafted number 1 overall in 2023. I love the move, and I hope that the Panthers are in that situation next year. Again, training camp. We're a month away.
You blink and it's here.
One month from tomorrow, the rookies for the Carolina Panthers will be reporting to training camp.
It is crazy.
It's going to be here before you know it, Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be here for August 8th.
Yeah.
August 8th is the first preseason game. August 8th.
And it's right around the corner.
Less than 2 months away, V.
That's crazy.
Less than 2 months. I think
it's flown by.
I know. And it's a Thursday game. I think it'd probably be 7 weeks from this Thursday.
Yeah.
First preseason game. It's like 7 weeks from this Thursday.
7 weekends. That's how you look. And weekends go by fast. So
I think until the very first actual NFL game of the season, I think it's 12 from this past Sunday. It's 12 Sundays. That's it. And we have NFL. Crazy to think about. Absolutely crazy to think about. Again, I hope that the Carolina Panthers are in that situation. Real quick update. College World Series, Victoria. Real quick update. We're in the top of the third inning. North Carolina playing Florida State. Florida State is at bat right now. Again, top of the third inning. Florida State leads this one 1-0. 1-0 the score. They got an RBI single back in the second inning. So Florida State leads this one 1-0. So tons of time left.
yeah, plenty.
Tons of time.
Anything can happen.
Tons of time. Now the winner of this game has to play Tennessee. Tennessee, the team that beat Carolina just a couple days ago, 6-1. The winner of this game has to play Tennessee, and you have to beat Tennessee twice. You have to beat them twice. And you can't lose. So both these teams, again, it's an elimination game. So you have to win this game and 2 straight against Tennessee to get to the College World Series finals. So that's the situation that UNC is in right now. If you missed it earlier today, real quick, Eric Tulsky, general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes. Actually, let's go ahead and hit the show rewind, Victoria. Now, we're going to rewind this thing. So in the show rewind, I'll recap a couple of things that we hit on today specifically. One, Eric Tulsky, again, is the general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes. I know we talked about it about 30 minutes ago or so. But I said earlier, about an hour and a half ago, top 5 things now that the Carolina Hurricanes have their general manager in place. Top 5 things, Victoria, for the new Canes GM. Or at least now that the process is in place, we officially know who is the GM. Other teams around the league know it. Agents, players, they know who the front guy is, the face, the point of contact. I want to make a trade for this guy. This is who I got to call. So top 5 priorities for the Canes now that they have their GM in place. Number 1, Seth Jarvis contract extension. Seth Jarvis contract extension. That's number 1 for me. Sign him for his prime years, Victoria. Number 2 for me, Martin Necas trade. We have seen the Carolina Hurricanes and so many other teams linked for Martin Necas. The forward, I mean, to me, where there's smoke, there's fire. The fact that we keep hearing about Boston, Montreal, Vancouver, Winnipeg, Nashville, apparently, a lot of teams are interested in Martin Necas and are willing to deal for the guy. But also knowing, in order to get Martin Necas, you're going to have to give up a top-level player to get him back, right? So it might be one of your top 4 defensemen and another player to get Martin Necas. The Carolina Hurricanes are not going to settle for, give us a first-round pick and 2 of your top prospects and a 4th liner. They're not going to do that. The Canes aren't in a rebuild. It's going to take, again, a player currently on your roster that might be another top 6 forward that just may have fallen out of favor, that also needs a change of scenery. It's either going to be that or it's a top 4 defenseman and something else for Martin Necas. But that's the second priority in my mind. Third, it's re-signing Jordan Martinook. Do not let that guy get to free agency. Do not let that happen, because I guarantee there are a lot of other teams around the NHL that are going to look and say, hey, that guy's can boost our bottom six who can play on our third line. He's going to turn the culture of our team around. He can make our team better, not only by the way he plays on the ice, but he's going to make our locker room better. He's going to hold guys accountable. That's the guy we kind of want that's going to turn our program or turn our franchise around, turn things around, especially for our young stars, and be a mentor for them. Do not let that guy get to free agency. Do not let that guy be unsigned come July 1st, because I guarantee you other teams will be calling for his services, Victoria. I want that guy back.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Number 4, speaking of July 1st, Jacob Slavin. He's under contract for the next year, but again, he's going into the final year of his deal. Get a deal done for him, a contract extension done for him now. ASAP. Get it done now. Because this is going to be vital for you moving forward, knowing as the brain trust that is now General Manager Eric Tulsky, Assistant GM Darren York, owner Tom Dundon, that you know going forward with the free agents that you're signing and the decisions that you make in terms of trades, that you know exactly how much Jacob Slavin is going to cost you for the next however many years. So you know going forward, okay, we can't make this signing because Jacob Slavin, we know how much that money's going to be made. Or we can make this move because we already know what Jacob Slavin's going to be making. We already know what Jalen Chatfield's going to be making for the next 3 years. We know, hopefully with the Seth Jarvis extension, we know how much he's making. Same with Svetch, same with Sebastian Aho. So that's priority number 4. And final one here for me, number 5. Pyotr Kochetkov should be your number 1 guy moving forward. And hopefully is your number 1 guy come playoff time in 2025, 1 year from now. That Pyotr Kochetkov is your number 1 guy. Who's the complimentary guy beside him? Is it still Freddie Anderson? Or are you going to look to do something more long-term? Hey, we can pair Kochetkov with Jacob Markstrom from Calgary or whomever it might be. Linus Allmark. That's the best combination for us moving forward, but Kochetkov's going to be our guy in the postseason. Maybe that's the decision. I don't know, but what I do know is after this year, Frederik Andersen is a free agent. He's a free agent, and I bet there are a lot of teams out there that say, you know what, we could use a veteran goalie for 1 year as like a number 2, or at least to get us through this year. Figure out who that complimentary goalie is to go with Pyotr Kochetkov. But Pyotr Kochetkov is your guy this coming year. And hopefully for the future. Because as Walt Ruff on Hurricanes.com wrote about earlier today, Pyotr Kochetkov is a full-time NHLer starting next year. Remember last year, he started the season in the minors because the Canes had Freddie Anderson and they had Antti Ranta.
Yeah.
So he had to start off in the minors.
He's our guy.
And Kochetkov ended up starting the most games for the Carolina Hurricanes this year. I think he played in 41 games.
Yeah, he played in a bunch.
Like he played literally like half the season because
I wish he would have played in more of the post.
Don't get me started on that. We don't have time for me to get into that, Victoria. But nonetheless, he ended up starting half the year for this team and really helped turn things around. He carried the team late in the year while Freddie Anderson was still working back from his blood clots. Antti Ranta was nicked up. Spencer Martin was claimed off of waivers from the Columbus Blue Jackets. Crazy time. So again, my top 5 priorities now that the Canes have a general manager in place. 1, Jarvis extension. 2, Nature's trade. 3, Jordan Martinook. Re-sign that guy. 4, a Jacob Slavin contract extension. Number 5, figure out who your number 2 goalie is behind Kochetkov. Long term, not just this year, long term. Game 5, Stanley Cup Finals tonight, 8 o'clock. Victoria, give me a score. Who wins?
Oh, man. I feel like it's going to go on the over because they're just going to be shooting all kinds of things.
Okay, all the goals tonight.
So, I don't know. I mean, maybe it'll be crazy and it'll be like 4-2 Oilers.
4-2 Oilers. Okay, I actually think this is going to be a little bit more of a low-scoring type game. But when we did place our bets back about an hour ago, I did say that the Edmonton Oilers were going to win this one. So I gotta follow that up. But give me a low-scoring game in this one. Give me 3-2 Edmonton Oilers in this one. Actually, 3-2 overtime. 3-2 overtime win, Victoria.
Could definitely
for the
go
Edmonton
into OT.
Oilers. 3-2 OT Oilers tonight. I'm calling it. College World Series underway. North Carolina trailing 1-0, top of the third. Adam Gold will be back tomorrow. Victoria, thank you so much. Till next time, bid you adieu. Goodbye.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Everyone and everything is trying to become more streamlined, more efficient these days, so why not you? Adam Gold here from my friends at Travers LASIK and Dr. Lori Travers, the Triangle's only LASIK specialist, and this is your chance to streamline your day-to-day. If you are a contact lens or glasses wearer, get rid of everything involved, the lenses, the cleaning, the trips to the store, the replacement lenses and glasses, and the cost that comes with them. So how about we hit up Travers LASIK? Get Dr. Lori Travers to work her magic, 5 minutes per eye. You could go back to work the very next day.